Naruto God Level Majin Buu, Chapter 281 to 300. 281 Senju Hashirama, S cells. Chen's mind instantly became extremely clear. At first, Orochimaru stole Senju Hashirama's cells in order to study the method of using cells to increase their lifespan, which eventually led to the appearance of test bodies such as Yamato. And Yamato became Orochimaru's only successful experiment, and as a reward for a secret agreement with Danzo, Orochimaru handed Yamato to Danzo. It all makes sense. In the original plot, it turned out to be like this. So Senju Hashirama's cells are in this lab. Chen whispered to himself. This guy Orochimaru is really audacious. He actually dared to steal the corpse from Senju Hashirama's grave, and got Senju Hashirama's cells. If this matter is discovered, Orochimaru will be expelled from Konoha immediately. Even the 3 generations of Hokage cannot keep him, and the whole Konoha will definitely not tolerate him. After all, the first Hokage is the founder of Konoha and is the most important hero in the village. Unshakable. Sure enough, Orochimaru's enthusiasm for research has reached the ultimate at this time. To a certain extent, all scientists are lunatics, which is indeed true. Chen shrugged. Hearing this amazing news, Chen also began to search for Senju Hashirama's cells in the laboratory. Senju Hashirama's cells, the importance of this thing is self-evident. With Senju Hashirama's cells, plus Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, you can make white Zetsu. With Senju Hashirama's cells, plus eternal Mangekyo, Uchiha Madara opened Rinnegan before dying. With Senju Hashirama's cells, even Danzo's arm can fit a row of Sharingan, it's just open. Senju Hashirama's cells are simply one of the most important things in the Hokage world, because in Senju Hashirama's cells, there is a strong yang power. Of course, for the current Chen, although Chen itself has yang done, there is no need for Senju Hashirama's cells to evolve eternal Mangekyo into Rinnegan, and he can rely on Yangdun to complete the evolution from eternal Mangekyo to Rinnegan. But Chen can do many other things with Senju Hashirama's cells. Example, try making a white Zetsu. Example, you can use this to study the powerful secrets of Senju Hashirama, practice yin and yang escape faster, and even create some ninjutsu using Senju Hashirama cells. So Senju Hashirama cells are definitely good things for Chen. Chen quickly locked the old 6 paths in the little dark room, with a ring, so that the old 6 paths would not disturb him at this time, and then searched for Senju Hashirama's cells. In the glassware placed in this laboratory, there must be 1,000 Hashirama cells. Chen carefully searched and walked towards the depths of the experiment, only to feel the darkness everywhere, causing Chen to frown slightly. Orochimaru's lab is so cold. Chen walked forward, and found that there were some human bodies stored in the huge test tube. However, most of these human bodies are corpses. Orochimaru has already been used as a test subject, although it is a corpse of other ninja village ninjas, and they seem to be processed corpses during the war. Quietly hid it for experimentation. Chen shook his head. No matter what. These corpses went to the deepest part. The most important thing, Senju Hashirama's cells, must be stored in the deepest and most secret place in the laboratory. As expected, in the innermost room of the laboratory, a vessel about 30 or 40 centimeters in height was quietly placed. There is green water in the container, which is bubbling, bubbles. Among them is a mass of white objects the size of a fist, somewhat similar to white Zetsu's body, which is Senju Hashirama's cells. Sure, it's here. Chen was also a little excited, took Senju Hashirama's cells into his pocket, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. With Senju Hashirama's cells, Chen also can do a lot of things in research. It's really easy to do. And the Orochimaru guy has Senju Hashirama's corpse, and presumably he can also get Senju Hashirama's cells, but Chen is not worried that Orochimaru can't find a replacement. Chen doesn't want to destroy Orochimaru, research for the time being. After all, Chen still needs Orochimaru to research the forbidden techniques such as reincarnation, and then steal Orochimaru's research results so that Chen can learn from it. So Chen simply regarded Orochimaru as a free labor force, and still needed Orochimaru to do things. When Senju Hashirama's cells are in hand, Chen can feel that within the Senju Hashirama's cells, there is an explosive chakra energy. This chakra is full of vitality, stronger than Chen's current Yangdun. As expected of Senju Hashirama, the reincarnation of Asura, he is indeed a pervert. Chen must admit that there is still some gap between his current practice of Yangdun and Senju Hashirama, but with Chen Yangdun's practice, the gap will become smaller and smaller until Chen surpasses it. Chen did not doubt this in the slightest. Chen had been practicing Yangdun for a few years, but he had already made good progress. Chen could feel the vitality of his body gradually increasing, and after a while, he was expected to open the eternal Mangekyo. Obtaining Senju Hashirama's cells, Chen can also use this to study. Presumably the practice of yin and yang escape will be faster. Chen carefully put away the glass bottle containing Senju Hashirama cells, ready to leave. This time it was a good harvest, but the Senju Hashirama cells were stolen, and presumably Orochimaru will soon find out. It's a pity that this matter is not seen in the end, and Orochimaru can only eat this dumb loss. Chen turned around and prepared to leave, but at this moment, Chen keenly heard a hissing sound. Fizz, fizz. Voice kept coming. Chen was vigilant. It was the sound of a snake. Orochimaru came. At this critical moment, Orochimaru actually came to the laboratory. I was afraid that Chen's actions were discovered. Chen held his breath. Sharingan cancelled instantly, so as not to reveal the identity. Then, there was a sound of footsteps. Ask for an automatic. Ask for a reward. 282 Chen vs Orochimaru. A burst of hurried footsteps sounded, and the hurried pace of the approaching person made Chen's heart shudder. In this dark laboratory, Chen immediately restrained his Sharingan, so as not to reveal his identity. Always be alert to the Orochimaru that comes next. Orochimaru. No one else will come to this laboratory, so Chen is very sure that it is Orochimaru. I could only hear the hissing sound of the snake core, and then I saw a black-gray poisonous snake surging out from all directions like a tide. There are hundreds of these poisonous snakes, which are Orochimaru's psychic beasts, acting as Orochimaru's eyes, looking for traces and breath of people everywhere. Apparently, Orochimaru seems to have spotted an intruder. This guy Orochimaru, he feels very sharp. He actually found out that I broke into the laboratory. Chen was a little surprised. Chen's expression moved slightly. He didn't want to reveal his identity. In such a situation, it's a bit tricky to match Orochimaru with Sharingan, Mangekyo or even Kaden fire style. Only to see one after another of poisonous snakes, Orochimaru also quickly shuttled through the laboratory, and finally found Chen's figure. Who is it that dares to break into my laboratory? Orochimaru's low and hoarse voice echoed, and his figure appeared 10 meters in front of Chen. After many days, Tatsuya finally saw Orochimaru. Compared to before, Orochimaru has a more gloomy temperament. This gloomy aura makes me uncomfortable. Long black hair, long blonde pupils, purple eyeshadow extending to the nose, pale skin, with a blue tomo earring, gives a very gloomy and dangerous feeling in such a dark environment. Chen frowned in disgust. Orochimaru had not seen him for a long time. Sure enough, everyone became more gloomy. In order to study ninjutsu, Orochimaru was in a state of extreme fanaticism at this time. It seems that a good prey has been found. It seems that you have discovered my research. Fortunately, I arrived in time, and this secret will be kept forever. Orochimaru stretched out his tongue lightly on the side of his mouth, and the kunai in the middle stared gloomily at Chen, who was in disguise, and kept staring at Chen's eyes. Orochimaru had murderous intent on his face and made no secret of it. In fact, Orochimaru discovered that Chen broke into the barrier by accident. Chen broke through the barrier and completely concealed Orochimaru, but Orochimaru remembered several experiments today, and he was so excited that he couldn't sleep, so he was ready to go to the laboratory again. Look, but unexpectedly found that someone broke into the enchantment, and started to attack and search in shock. The person in front of him actually discovered his secret, and Orochimaru was already guessing who it was. It seems unlikely that the 3 generations of Hokage, if it is the 3 impossible, only one person will come, and they are so sneaky. It is possible for Uchiha-chan, but the person in front of him doesn't use Sharingan for the time being, and he will try it out later. Or in other villages, there is such a possibility. Orochimaru's mind changed sharply, secretly guessing Chen's identity, but he already had the intention to kill. No matter who it is, anyone who knows his experiment must die. Chen changed his voice and said lightly, "You can't kill me." Chen doesn't use Sharingan, so this is the case. Chen also wants to fight with Orochimaru to see how much Orochimaru's strength has reached. Speaking of which, Chen has not yet seriously fought with any of the Sannin. Chen is very clear that Sannin has close ties with the 3 holy places of the ninja world. Maybe their strength is not super strong, but they have a lot of cards, and it is not easy to deal with them. Not to mention anything else, this guy Orochimaru is almost no one in the original book can really kill him. This alone is enough to prove the uniqueness of Orochimaru. HMPH, what I hate the most is this kind of arrogance. Orochimaru sneered, and his eyes flashed gloomily, his hands stretched out suddenly, hidden shadow snake hand. I saw that Orochimaru's hands suddenly turned into hundreds of poisonous snakes. These poisonous snakes hissed and spit out their cores, opened their mouths, and stabbed towards Chen. Shang Chen. Chen snorted lightly, and instead of using Kaiden fire style in order not to reveal his identity, he instead used futon wind style, a super-sized vacuum jade. Blink of an eye, the hand seal was completed, only to see a hurricane like a cannonball-like excitation, a powerful force surged, and the wind swept, like a knife, rustling and rolling out, directly smashing the corpse of the white snake. Scattered all over the place, blood splattered everywhere. The ground is full of dead snakes. Futon wind style, vacuum super large jade. This is a ninjutsu above the big vacuum jade, and it is even more like a stroke of magic when used in Chen's hands, with extraordinary power. Of course, this was just a tentative confrontation between Tatsu and Orochimaru. Looking for death. Orochimaru was shocked and angry when he saw the dead bodies of poisonous snakes all over the ground. Obviously Chen's strength exceeded his expectations. Orochimaru's eyes were full of annoyance. Under such circumstances, Orochimaru did not dare to use large-scale ninjutsu so as not to attract the attention of other Konoha people. Fortunately, there are enchantments around here, and super ninjutsu cannot be used, but other ninjutsu can still be used. A low voice, Orochimaru's face became more and more gloomy, and he turned to other ninjutsu, spiritualism, the formation of 10,000 snakes. Array of 10,000 snakes. This ninjutsu is also a ninjutsu that Orochimaru is good at. I only saw countless snakes spit out of Orochimaru's mouth. The number of these poisonous snakes is even more surprising to Chen, and Chen estimates that there are at least thousands of them. The poisonous snakes all came towards Chen, and the poisonous snakes surged. These venomous snakes are not ordinary snakes, they are all psychic beasts of Raichi Cave, and they have a lot of power in themselves. If they were ordinary ninjas, I am afraid that a dozen venomous snakes would find it difficult to deal with. It seems that Orochimaru is also ready to take action with all his strength, and kill Zhang Chen here. Please automatically see the ununderlined version of the novel. 283 The Power of Jinten, Particle Style, The Shocking Orochimaru. Chen couldn't use Kaiden Fire Style and Raiden Thunder Style, which he was good at, so as to avoid any clues, he used other ninjutsu. After thinking for a while, Chen used Suiten Water Style. Suiten Water Style, Water Wall. Chen is also very fast, almost in an instant, hand seal, and in the blink of an eye, the surrounding air begins to become damp, and a stream of water suddenly spreads and erupts, appearing around Chen, and the water rises up one after another. The wall appeared, lined up in a straight line, blocking Chen's body. This is also a ninjutsu. Chen's chakra is not weak, so a large area of water was created, burst out, and surged around Chen's body. This ninjutsu is much stronger than the water formation wall's defense, so it makes it difficult for a poisonous snake to break through the water with chakra, and it is difficult to break through Chen's defense. It's actually in a place where there is no water to use such a strong sweeten, water-style ninjutsu. Could it be that this guy is a sweetened, water-style ninja? Orochimaru squinted his eyes. The murderous intent in his eyes did not diminish, but he was a little more puzzled, secretly analyzing Chen's situation. The strength of the person in front of him is undoubtedly very strong, and he is not an ordinary opponent to be able to use such a strong sweeten, water-style technique in a place without water. And it seems that the other party's intention is not to expose his experiment, but to be sneaky, and he doesn't know what the purpose is. And the people in front of you don't care. What is his identity? As long as he knows his secret, he must die. You are from the village of Kurigakure. Orochimaru's hoarse voice sounded, and a pair of golden pupils stared at Chen Dao. Chen snorted softly and did not answer, so as not to be seen by Orochimaru. After all, Tatsu and Orochimaru fought side by side for a long time in the last ninja war, and Tatsu was worried about being discovered by Orochimaru and revealing their identities. Seeing Chen did not answer, Orochimaru snorted angrily, shouted in a low voice, and a strong breath emanated from his whole body. Orochimaru suddenly spit out a slender sword with a cold light from his mouth. Man, let Chen's pupils shrink slightly. Kusanagi sword. This is also the sharp weapon that Orochimaru relied on in the original book. If it is cut by this sharp sword in close combat, I am afraid that it will be severely injured immediately. Orochimaru spit out the Kusanagi sword, spit out half of the sword body, and then his head suddenly stretched more than 10 meters in an instant, and stabbed towards Chen. Orochimaru's body is like a snake, and it must have been transformed into. It is very special and can be stretched at any time. Chen's figure flashed, flashing one after another, dodging from both sides. Chen is not afraid to use the shunshu technique, because most of the ninjas will use the shunshu technique, and there is almost no sign. Most of the shunshu techniques are very similar and difficult to detect. In such a situation, Tatsuya takes shape and uses taijutsu and shunjutsu to evade Orochimaru's attack. However, Orochimaru roared, the attack became more and more fierce, and the strength continued to attack Chen, and the Kusanagi sword was more frequent, and it was powerful again and again. Compared to demonic illusion and ninjutsu, Chen is of course not that good at taijutsu, although he is also very powerful, but under the threat of Kusanagi sword, and because he cannot reveal his identity, Chen also gradually felt threatened. Under such circumstances, Chen quickly used the technique of the body transfer, and Orochimaru is also pressing step by step. Are venomous snakes all around, searching every corner of the laboratory, as if looking for something. Orochimaru controls these venomous snakes while fighting Chen. After about a minute, Orochimaru's expression changed. Damn, you actually took Senju Hashirama's cells. It turned out that Orochimaru was using a poisonous snake to search to confirm what was missing in the laboratory, and it turned out that the most important item in the laboratory, Senju Hashirama's cell, was stolen by the mysterious black man in front of him. That's right, Senju Hashirama's cell. It has been put away by Chen, and Chen put away the cells and hid them quietly. However, Orochimaru also had his own means, and after all, he found Tatsu's theft, and immediately roared. The Kusanagi sword also stretched sharply and penetrated towards Tatsu. Senju Hashirama's cells were stolen, much to Orochimaru's wrath. Although he still has Senju Hashirama's corpse, as long as Senju Hashirama's corpse is there, he can still get Senju Hashirama's cells. Orochimaru would never tolerate having his cells stolen by the person in front of him. Orochimaru tried his best to fight with Chen frantically for a while, and the attack was as dense as Hayate showers. In this state of close combat, even Chen felt threatened. Sharingan cannot be used, which is a great constraint on Chen. Perhaps knowing that Chen has Senju Hashirama's cells in his hands greatly aroused Orochimaru's anger. Orochimaru's offensive became more and more fierce, and Chen gradually retreated. If you want to leave today, you will die here and become my experimental body. Orochimaru's hoarse voice sounded, gloomy and indifferent. Chen's figure retreated sharply, but Orochimaru was pressing step by step, chasing after him. Orochimaru also knew very well that Chen had to be killed within this barrier, otherwise it would definitely cause Konoha's alarm, and then it would be miserable. A cold light flashed in Chen's eyes, and Orochimaru really thought he couldn't take him. Chen put on a mask, snorted coldly, and quickly hand seal, completed in an instant. Jinten particle style, split detachment of the primitive world technique. Only when I heard Chen Qing shout, a transparent ball of light diffused out and appeared in the shape of a cone, with a range of more than 10 meters, and it expanded towards Orochimaru. The long neck paused suddenly, and then stepped back in fear, so as not to be affected by split detachment of the primitive world technique. Orochimaru could see at a glance that the person in front of him was actually using Jinten particle style. Blood, how could it be possible? You are the third generation Tsuchikage 2-day scale Onoki. Orochimaru roared. Within the Jinten particle style envelope, everything is broken down into molecular states. Many utensils in the laboratory disappeared. The ground disappeared. Tables and chairs disappeared. Terrified Orochimaru the most was that although he dodged in time, the Kusanagi sword did not dodge completely, causing half of the stretched Kusanagi sword to be broken in two, and half of it disappeared out of thin air, as if it had never appeared. The horror in Orochimaru's heart, which cannot be added. 284 My name is Zero. Dual identity. Blood follower elimination, Jinten particle style. Orochimaru murmured these two words, his expression was even more nervous, and his eyes were full of astonishment when he looked at Chen. Everything around disappears out of thin air, as if it had never appeared. It was Jinten particle style who transformed everything into a molecular state, producing enormous power. Orochimaru's heart is bleeding. Everything in this laboratory is his painstaking efforts, all of which he regards as treasures, but it was destroyed by the mysterious black man in front of him using Jinten particle style, and everything changed into a molecular state. 3 generations of Tsuchikage from Iwagakure village will be eliminated by blood. Orochimaru forced himself to remain calm, guessing in his heart that Tsuchikage had a lot to do with the 3rd generation of Tsuchikage. After knowing that Chen will be eliminated by blood, Orochimaru is extremely jealous of Chen. Orochimaru has also heard about the elimination of blood, and when he was studying ninjutsu, he also knew that the elimination of blood was very powerful. This is one of the most powerful ninjutsu. Orochimaru's eyes flashed with greed, and he licked his mouth lightly, preparing to attack. At this time, Chen's body quickly retreated, and Jinten particle style was released again. Jinten particle style, split detachment of the primitive world technique. Split detachment of the primitive world technique released by Chen just now is a cone. This time it is a square, with a larger range, and it attacks Orochimaru directly. Orochimaru's face paled slightly, and a hint of fear appeared on his pale face. Although Jinten particle style's attack is strong, there are ways to resist. For example, you can use time-space ninjutsu to dodge, or dodge Jinten particle style's range. When Orochimaru saw Jinten particle style attack, he flicked his body and slammed into the ground like a snake, burrowing into the ground, and dodging the attack. The release of Jinten particle style 2 times in a row also showed a very strong attack power. Even Orochimaru was scared into a cold sweat. The Kusanagi sword was lost, and at the same time, he had to run around to avoid. The power of Jinten particle style is enough to show. Chen is now able to apply Jinten particle style split detachment of the primitive world technique to this level. It is already very difficult, the power and scope are stronger than when Chen was a beginner. It is also very close to Jinten particle style of the third generation Tsuchikage. The release of Jinten particle style twice also consumed a lot of chakra. Jinten particle style ninjutsu is stronger if it is stronger, but the consumption of chakra is absolute, so even a 2-day scale Onoki will not be used much. Who the hell are you? After Orochimaru avoided Jinten particle style, his body elongated again, only his head and neck emerged from the ground, and he looked at Chen with gloomy eyes, and said hoarsely. Chen touched the special mask on his face. You can call me, Zero. Zero. This is Tatsusho's generation among Akatsuki. This is also the first time that Chen has officially used this identity to announce his name in front of outsiders. After learning Jinten particle style, Chen started walking with this identity. Some things that are inconvenient to handle in the dark, Chen can use this identity to handle. Especially with Jinten particle style, even without Sharingan, Jin's strength is still very strong. 0. Orochimaru pondered the name he had never heard before, and his anger remained unabated. You actually robbed my Senjuhashirama cells, what are you trying to do? You'll find out later, we'll meet again. Chen smiled faintly, his figure flashed, and he disappeared using the instant body technique. Orochimaru didn't dare to chase after him at this time. After seeing Chen's Jinten particle style, Orochimaru knew that he had absolutely no certainty of winning, and the opponent's strength and identity were far beyond Orochimaru's imagination. When Orochimaru saw Chen Yuan's back, the flames of anger in his heart continued to rise, and when he looked at the messy Laboratory Research Institute, he was even more distressed. Half of his painstaking research was destroyed in this battle. In the past few months, the results of the previous research were instantly vanished. How could this not make Orochimaru angry? It's a pity that the person who came here is too mysterious, too powerful, even I can't take any advantage, I can only watch the mysterious man leave. Orochimaru's golden pupils flickered coldly, licking the corners of his mouth and muttering to himself, who is this person? He first used futon wind style and sweetened water style to confuse me. Only when I was forced to feel threatened, Jinten particle style was used as a last resort. In this world, Jinten particle style is only the third generation Tsuchikage 2-day scale Onoki. Even if this person doesn't weigh Onoki for 2 days, he can't get rid of him. Orochimaru racked his brains to analyze. At first, Chen deliberately used futon wind style and sweetened water style to confuse Orochimaru, and at the end of the close battle with Orochimaru, he even created the illusion of being threatened by Orochimaru, so he used Jinten particle style as a last resort. Be fooled. In fact, Chen deliberately used Jinten particle style to induce Orochimaru to think about Onoki. It is speculated on Tatsu who owns Sharingan. If Orochimaru was very suspicious of Chen before meeting Jinten particle style, then after meeting Jinten particle style, he completely dismissed the idea. Because in Orochimaru's view, it is absolutely impossible for Chen to be Jinten particle style. I will ask Danzo to investigate the identity of this person secretly, and the other party's target is Senjuhashirama's cells, and for the time being, Konoha executives should not know about my forbidden technique experiment. As for the laboratory here has been exposed, I have to quickly move to other safer places. Orochimaru looked gloomy and muttered to himself. Soon, Orochimaru used ninjutsu and began to carry everything here so that no one else would find out. Chen, on the other hand, turned around Konoha a few times in the dark, and after confirming that there was no one following behind him, he removed his mask and clothes, regained his identity as Uchiha Chen, and returned to the Uchiha clan. Back at the clan, Chen can't wait to confirm what he got this time, Senjuhashirama's cells. A new volume will be opened in 2 days, convenient for mobile phone parties. Volume name, The Revelation of the Plot, you all know it. This is the 4th update. Updates and plots will start to be powerful. Please be automatic. Please subscribe. Please reward convenient children's shoes. Please subscribe automatically. Please read the underlined version of the novel. 285 Yongdun and Forbidden Technique. Chen quickly returned to the Uchiha clan to prevent others from following, and Chen was also cautious, making sure no one found out before returning home. At this time, Makoto and Kushina were both sound asleep, and in the middle of the night, the two girls could still vaguely hear the babble in their dreams, all of them calling Chen's name, causing a warm smile to appear on the corner of Chen's mouth. Order not to disturb the two girls, Chen went to another room in the yard to rest, and took out the Senju Hashirama cells that had been hidden on his body. The fist-sized Senju Hashirama cells were clearly visible in the glassware, causing Chen to narrow his eyes. It is indeed Senju Hashirama's cells. Chen squinted his eyes and muttered. Even though it is a glass vessel, Chen can still feel a chakra of Senju Hashirama cells, and the chakra contained in it is not as domineering as Kyuubi's Nine-Tails chakra, nor like Susanoo's chakra. Carrot has an evil nature, but a feeling of majestic vitality. This chakra is very strong. As expected of the original Hokage Senju Hashirama, who was once stronger than Uchiha Madara. Chen whispered to himself. Senju Hashirama's cells are of course a big harvest for Chen, although Chen doesn't rely on transplanting Senju Hashirama cells to make himself Rinnegan, but Senju Hashirama's cells have many uses, more than that. Old man, come out. Chen shrugged. Chen touched the shackles of the ring and let the old six paths come out. When Chen was investigating the Orochimaru laboratory just now, Chen deliberately did not let the six paths immortal come out, but locked him in the ring. After all, this matter was not very glorious, and the six paths immortal was reluctant. Sure enough, as soon as the old six paths appeared, he scolded, "Boy, how did you steal Senju Hashirama's cells? The other party is the first Hokage, isn't he the hero of your Konoha village?" Chen shrugged. Old man, I didn't steal this, it was stolen by Orochimaru. I just grabbed it by the way. That guy Orochimaru must be working on some kind of horrible forbidden technique. Boy, you must stop Orochimaru, said the old man of six paths. Chenpai pouted. He didn't care what the old six paths said, and changed the subject. Old man, the power of Yongdun contained in the cells of Senju Hashirama is not small. My current Yongdun's cultivation level is probably much different from Senju Hashirama. Of course Chen's Yongdun is not as good as Senju Hashirama. Chen wants to know the gap between the two. The speed of your practice of Yangdun is already very fast. The exact time is hard to say, it depends on personal luck. However, your talent and aptitude are stronger than Senju Hashirama, so it should cost less, said the old man of six paths. Chen nodded lightly, thinking to himself, my god, I should be able to reach the level of Senju Hashirama in Yangdun practice before love, and I should also start Rinnegan at that time. Chen's current Yongdun's strength is also very good, and his body has a very strong resilience, so he was able to continue fighting in the last Ninja World War, leading the wooden leaf goes to victory. Compared to Hashirama's current level of Yangdun practice, he is indeed at a disadvantage. Senju Hashirama is really a pervert. Even after so many years of death, his cells still possess such strong power. Chen sighed with emotion. Of course, the role of Yongdun is to enhance vitality. Senju Hashirama at that time probably died of physical exhaustion after the battle with Uchiha Madara, plus the overwork after becoming Hokage. Otherwise, with Senju Hashirama's strength, life extension would be easy. Six Paths old man said. Oh. Chen's eyes lit up. It seems that Orochimaru is right. By studying the cells of Senju Hashirama, he may really find a way to prolong his life. With Senju Hashirama's cells in hand, he may be able to find a similar method. Chen himself has practiced Yongdun, and if Yongdun is cultivated to ultimate, the power of sage body is self-evident. And the life expectancy will be longer in the future. Chen himself doesn't have to worry, but Chen is worried about Kushina, Makoto and the others. not everyone can cultivate, at least Kushina, Makoto and others can't. If there is a ninjutsu that can increase longevity, it would be perfect for women like Kushina and Makoto. If you use Senju Hashirama's cells, will you be able to create and develop ninjutsu that prolongs life? Chen asked curiously. Maybe, you need to try it yourself. The old man of 6 paths is very irresponsible. Chen shrugged, but immediately began to study. Senju Hashirama's cells contain a lot of masculine power. This power is majestic and vast, although it is only one cell, but it has a strong restoring force. It seems to be the same in the original work. Uchiha Madara once mentioned in the battle with the 5 shadows, Senju Hashirama's body has extremely terrifying healing power and resilience. Even without the need for hand seal, it will automatically recover from injuries. After trying a few times, Chen was also very amazed. The terrifying resilience, this is the true power of the immortal's body. No wonder even the original Uchiha Madara has to bow down to this power. I'm afraid that Orochimaru in the plot has successfully researched similar recovery ninjutsu, so Orochimaru cannot die every time, and has a strong vitality. Chen thought to himself. This discovery made Chen in a good mood. Chen devoted himself to studying the cells of Senju Hashirama, and at the same time, he became more and more aware of the importance of yang escape. Yin and yang blend together, and you can get Shinra Bansho, all creation. Chen has a deep impression on this sentence. Although Senju Hashirama's cells are precious, Chen does not intend to transplant them into himself. First, transplanting cells is a bit disgusting. Second, the power obtained by using Senju Hashirama does not belong to him after all. It is not inferior to Senju Hashirama, so Chen did not transplant Senju Hashirama cells, but developed ninjutsu by studying Senju Hashirama cells. 286 Forbidden Technique that prolongs life. The preciousness of Senju Hashirama's cells is self-evident, and Chen also began to study. Although it is only the cells of Senju Hashirama, but a glimpse of Madara can tell the whole story, and the influence and effect of Senju Hashirama cells on Chen is not small. Under such circumstances, Chen began to concentrate on research. For several months, time, and Chen, the harvest is not small. Senju Hashirama's cells contain extremely strong Yangdun power. Chen also gained a lot in addition to his research. It has been verified with his own Yangdun. By drawing inferences, Chen's Yangdun has also made a lot of progress. It's emotional. Boy, according to this progress, your Yangdun strength will increase a little more. I'm afraid you will soon be able to make your Mangekyo Sharingan reach the level of the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. 6 Paths Old Man said. Chen also nodded slightly and agreed. Well, there is indeed progress. With Chen's Yangdun getting stronger and stronger, the Mangekyo consumption of both eyes is also getting smaller and smaller, and even Yu Chen's use of Susanoo in the first adult form doesn't consume much pupil power. This is undoubtedly a good phenomenon. Sharingan's Yin escape power blends with Chen's Yang escape power, and Chen's limit to the eternal Mangekyo is getting closer and closer. It's a pity that Yangdun is too difficult to practice, not to mention that Chen is not like the reincarnation of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, 2 Indras and Asuras, which can be used as plugins, and Chen does not know when he will be able to break through. Of the scene where he can use the full-body Susanoo when he breaks through the eternal Mangekyo in the future, Chen has a sense of excitement. Studying the cells of Senju Hashirama, Tatsuya almost figured out a way to extend the lifespan. Chen found that the cells of Senju Hashirama are dozens of times larger than ordinary cells, and because of the Yangdun contained in them, no matter what. Whether it is repairing power or energy is the best, can use it and develop ninjutsu, can definitely prolong life. According to Chen's vision, as long as the activity of cells can be maintained. With this development, it can not only heal the body quickly, but also maintain youthfulness and prolong life. This ninjutsu is somewhat similar to one of Tsunade's signature skills in the original work, creative regeneration, but the effect of creative regeneration is just the opposite. Will consume. The function for creating regeneration is to allow cells to divide. And Chen's ninjutsu will have no side effects, but prolong life to the greatest extent. This ninjutsu has been researched and prototyped. Since it was created based on the Senju Hashirama cells of Mokuden, wood style, Chen named it, wood style. Spiritual art. The function of the wood spirit technique is to prolong the life to the maximum extent and maintain the peak state of the practitioner when he was young. After Chen's many experiments, this ninjutsu succeeded. Boy, you must not spread this ninjutsu easily, otherwise it will cause chaos in the ninja world. Although this technique cannot give people eternal life, it can prolong life to the maximum extent, and can maintain a youthful state. It can be called a super forbidden technique. The old man of 6 paths said solemnly. What the 6 paths old man said is true at all. If this news spreads throughout the ninja world, it will cause a storm. Whoever does not want to prolong their life and who does not want to maintain their peak state is afraid that the introduction of this ninjutsu will arouse countless careerists and the competition of ninjas. After all, everyone wants such ninjutsu. Chen shrugged, but he felt that this ninjutsu was not too exaggerated. Just look at the perverts of Akatsuki. Sasori of the Red Sand transforms himself into a puppet, almost immortal. Hidan, Horn, both of these guys are immortal, not to mention Orochimaru. To some extent, these guys are talents. After developing the wood spirit technique, Chen was satisfied and returned to his yard. The beginning of the next chapter will be the new volume Convenient Mobile Phone Party. Volume name. The beginning of the plot. Second volume preview. Beginning with the magnificent Third Ninja World War, the peak volume of Hokage. Chen also went to the top of the ninja. 287. A brief piece. The beginning of the plot. After studying ninjutsu, Chen finally started a normal life. Since Orochimaru was disturbed once by Chen's identity as Zero, he has acted even more low-key. He moved the laboratory underground, and set up a tighter barrier, and even let some members of Gen guard outside the barrier. This guy Orochimaru rarely showed up in the village and started his research life as an otaku. In addition, Orochimaru's relationship with Danzo is getting closer and closer, and the two have made it clear that they intend to unite and have been conspiring. As Orochimaru and Danzo approached, Tatsuyao had expected it, and was not surprised. Days passed by 10:10, Minato and Tatsu both began to teach the growth of Obito, Shisui, Kakashi, Guy, Kurenai Yuhi and others. Among the crowd, the most powerful is of course Shisui. Shisui was taught by Chen, and passed down from Chen's instant art and demonic illusion. He is the strongest and the oldest. The second is Kakashi. Kakashi has a good talent, maybe because his father is White Fang, his strength has always been very good. Guy and Obito are a bit like the tail of a crane. Like in the original story, Obito is not bad, his strength is in the middle and upper reaches, but he is not as good as Kakashi, but Guy is a pure tail of a crane. After a while, it's like a white horse has passed through the gap. In a blink of an eye, 4 years have passed. 4 years later. After 4 full years of the peace treaty signed at the Five Shadows talks, the major powers are almost recuperating. During these 4 years, there has been no major war, but the small frictions on the border have never stopped. Moreover, in recent years, the situation between the major powers has become more and more tense, and there is even a looming trend of war. All that is missing is a fuse. The short-lived peace of the last ninja war seems to be ending at any time, and even the village is filled with a solemn atmosphere. During this period, Chen and Minato took these boys and girls out to perform missions many times, and they all grew up gradually. This year, Shisui, who was 13 years old, was successfully promoted to Jonin. Under the guidance of Chen, his strength was outstanding, and he grew into a ninja who could be on his own. And Kakashi and others are 2 years younger than Shisui, and they are all 11 years old. Chen remembers that Kakashi was just 12 years old during the Battle of Canopy Bridge in the original work, which means that the Third Ninja World War in the original work, I am afraid it is more than a year. The Third Ninja World War, however, the original Crucial War could even be said to be controlling the entire direction of Hokage. A lot has happened in this war. Obito's suspended animation, Kakashi's Sharingan, Minato became the fourth Hokage, Orochimaru's betrayal, and a series of other things are all due to this. His Yongdun is still one step away from breaking through, and therefore Mangekyo Sharingan has not reached the level of Yongtong. However, Chen's Mangekyo Sharingan is only one step away from breaking through to the eternal Mangekyo, and there is even a possibility of breaking through at any time. What is lacking is just an opportunity. So Chen was not in a hurry at all. As for Jinten particle style, Chen is basically a complete master, and I believe that Jinten particle style of the third generation of Tsuchikage is not too conceited. The third ninja war is getting closer and closer, and the important plot in the original book is getting closer and closer, making Chen feel the urgency of time. At the same time, Chen also started to make arrangements. Akatsuki has developed rapidly, and has become a huge force in the country of rain. However, Chen has been slow to recruit Sasori of the Red Sand into Akatsuki, but is waiting for an opportunity. This day, Chen is teaching Shisui, Kurenai Yuhi, and Gai 3 to practice ninjutsu. The strength of Shisui 3 has improved rapidly, especially Shisui, who is indeed the genius who opened up Mangekyo in the original work. Zhang Chen's instant technique learned, became a veritable instant Shisui, and also learned some demonic illusions such as crow clones. Brother Chen. While Chen was teaching Kurenai Yuhi 3 ninjutsu, Obito came running out of breath, grabbed Chen's hand suddenly, and said with a serious face, "Brother Chen, I have something important to discuss with you." "Yeah, Obito, didn't you see the teacher teaching us ninjutsu?" Kurenai Yuhi pouted in dissatisfaction. Obito scratched his head, but still said, "It's an important thing, please." Chen Yi waved his hand, motioning Kurenai Yuhi to be quiet. Kurenai Yuhi immediately stood obediently and stopped talking. Obito's eyes lit up when he saw this. Seeing that Obito was mysterious, Chen pulled Obito aside and asked with a bit of amusement, "Obito, what can I say?" At this time, Obito was 11 years old, wearing goggles, and looking very energetic. Obito smiled a little embarrassedly. "Brother Chen, you also know that I like Rin. But I think Rin treats me well, but he seems to care more about Kakashi, so I came here to ask you how to make Rin fall in love with me." Obito gathered his courage and whispered. Chen was speechless. What did this guy Obito take him for? The relationship expert seemed to be aware of Chen's gaze. Obito said a little embarrassedly, "Brother Chen, I see that you are so popular with girls, even Makoto and Kushina. My sister likes you very much, so I came to ask you for advice. Even Mr. Minato said that you have a talent called picking up girls." Obito longed. Chen almost spewed out, watching Obito speechless for a while. This guy Obito really only has Rin in his mind at this time. No wonder then when Rin dies, he will fall into such a crazy state, so thank you very much. 288 Chen's conspiracy, infiltrates Sunagakur. Chen's head was full of black lines, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he was silent. "Minato, this is how you teach students, and you have a talent called picking up girls. Sensei Minato, it was with this ability that he chased after his current wife, Emi Uzumaki." "Is it?" Obito was stunned for a moment, then his eyes lit up. "I see, I'll go ask Mr. Minato." "Thank you, Brother Chen." This guy Obito left in a flash, but Chen was still there, showing a thoughtful look. The Third Ninja World War. The Battle of Canopy Bridge is only about a year away, so many things will happen in this year, and Chen has to be prepared. At present, the development of Akatsuki is almost the same. In this ninja war, Yahiko died, Nagato blackened, and Akatsuki was really established. Tatsuki thought about the matter. The current Akatsuki is among Tatsuki's master, and it is not the same as in the original book. The current ninja world has a tendency to war, but this is also just right. The more turbulent the war in the ninja world, the better it will be for me. The more the power of the 5 great powers weakens, the easier it will be for me in the future. Chen said. With the coming of the Third Ninja World War, the Uchiha family is getting closer and closer to extermination, and even Chen has heard an important news. That is, Uchiha Fugaku's wife was pregnant as early as a year ago, and a child was born, named Uchiha Itachi. Yes, Uchiha Itachi was born. Chen remembered that during the 3 wars, Itachi was already 4 years old and 4 years old, so it was Chen who was born at this time. Not surprisingly. But there was also a sense of urgency. In the next time, I should disrupt the ninja world. The more chaotic the ninja world, and the weaker the power of the 5 countries, the better for Akatsuki's future development. I can also take the opportunity to fish in troubled waters. Chen thought darkly. In recent years, due to the union of Danzo and Orochimaru, Danzo has regained power again, and a group of high-level Konoha people such as Homura Mitokado, Kaharu Udatane, etc. are all more guarded against the Uchiha clan, and the Uchiha clan also there were more and more dissatisfied voices. Especially when Chen made great achievements for Konoha, the people of the Uchiha family were even more dissatisfied, thinking that the village did not give enough attention and preferential treatment to the Uchiha family. The conflict between the two sides has also intensified. This is the end of the matter. It is the best choice to strengthen Akatsuki's strength first, and then start a war to weaken the 5 powers. Chen said, arranged for the future. Teacher, what are you thinking? At this time, a crisp voice came. Chen looked up and saw Kurenai Yuhi smiling sweetly. Looking at Chen, a sweet smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and he could clearly see the love in Kurenai Yuhi's eyes. Kurenai Yuhi has always admired Chen the most, and with Chen, he almost regarded Chen as the person he admired the most. Chen smiled. It's okay, let's do it today. Yes. Although Kurenai Yuhi was a little lost, he nodded, and Kurenai Yuhi, Guy, Shisui and others left first. Chen also returned to the Uchiha clan. The time is almost ripe, the development of Akatsuki is almost the same, and it is the turn of the 3rd ninja war to break out. Maybe, I should go to Sasori. Chen murmured to himself that he was very clear about the reason for the outbreak of the 3rd Ninja World War, and there was also a key figure in it, Sasori of the Red Sand. Chio once said in the original book that the cause of the 3rd Ninja World War, it was because of the disappearance of Kazekage, the 3rd generation, that Sunagaku executives were in a panic. At this time, other villages took advantage of the emptiness to enter, coupled with the loss of Kazekage by the Sunagaku high-level leaders, which led to riots and triggered the 3rd Ninja War. In the original work, the 3rd generation of Kazekage died because Sasori killed the 3rd generation of Kazekage and made it into a puppet. So this is why Chen thought of Sasori. For the past few years, Chen Duo didn't go to Sasori, just waiting for this opportunity. Sasori is the key figure in the opening of the 3rd Ninja War. Now is the best time. By the way, to recruit Sasori into Akatsuki, this is the biggest purpose of Tatsu. Chen had already made a decision in his heart. After thinking about it, Chen found Kushina and Makoto and told the 2 girls that he was going out. Kushina and Makoto didn't say anything, they just told Chen to be careful. After Chen agreed, he waited peacefully for the night to fall, put on a black suit, put on his zero identity mask by the way, and prepared to go to Sunagaku village. Night falls. Chen leaves Konoha and sneaks into Sunagaku quietly. Chen did not delay in the slightest, and drove all the way. Sunagaku village and Konoha village were almost a day's distance apart, but if you approach the road, it might be closer. Chen of course approached the road and used the instant technique to hurry. Under such circumstances, it took almost only 1 night to reach the entrance of Sunagaku village. It was still dark and quiet everywhere. Chen hides his breath, and with his current strength, as long as his breath does not reveal hostility, even the 3rd generation Kazekage may not be able to find him, except for the perceptual ninja. So Chen was very relaxed, and quietly sneaked into Sunagaku village. Wind was blowing, and the Sunagaku village was bare everywhere, without any vegetation, with constant wind and sand all year round, and the environment was extremely harsh. Chen knew where Sasori lived, so he was familiar with the road, looking for the trail of Sasori. In fact, in the past few years, although Chen did not take the initiative to recruit Sasori to join Akatsuki, he secretly had connections with Sasori, and Sasori also knew that Chen had a secret identity. Chen quietly groped and finally found Sasori's place. Only see a small house in front of me. Since it is late at night, the faint yellow light is on. It is Sasori's room. By the way, I sincerely subscription, this is very important, thank you. Read the underlined version of the novel. 289 I'm threatening you. The room in front was flickering with a soft yellow light, and Chen, convinced that it was Sasori's room, quietly entered. I only saw that the room was very big, and there were puppets all around. These puppets were everywhere, and they had different shapes. There are human-shaped puppets, animal-shaped puppets, and some ghost-shaped puppets. There are many kinds of puppets everywhere. These puppets are all made of special materials and have different shapes, but they are all lifelike, and the puppets are easy to manipulate. And the most important thing is that almost every puppet is poisoned, which can easily put people to death. For almost every puppet master, and every puppet master is especially good at poisoning. Sasori, Chiyo and others are all masters of this art. As expected of Sasori of the Red Sand, the most outstanding puppet master in Sunagakur village. Seeing the puppets everywhere in the house, Chen couldn't help but sighed. Tatsu called Sasori the most outstanding puppet master in Sunagakur village, and there is a reason for that. At present, in terms of making puppets, I am afraid that Sasori has already surpassed the blue, and even Chiyo may not be able to compare with it. Sasori's eyes, these things are absolute works of art, full of timeless beauty. Really, it really makes me feel honored to be praised by the light of the stars. A low voice sounded, not Sasori's voice at all. At this time, a puppet appeared in front of Chen. The puppet's face was human-like, but its body was like that of a beast. There was also a long iron tail with venom quenched on it. Sasori appeared in front of Tatsu in the form of a puppet. Sasori, long time no see, you have grown a lot. This is the puppet, Hai Liuhu, that you made. Chen narrowed his eyes and said softly. In front of me is exactly Sasori's puppet, Hiryuhu, and it is also a work of art that Sasori is proud of on the puppet. The original Sasori appeared in this image. Sasori's voice changed, full of surprise. You actually know. No wonder Sasori was surprised. The prototype of this, Hiryuhu, puppet was a ninja in the outer village, who was defeated and killed by Sasori and made into a puppet. Sasori is vigilant and spends most of his time hiding in this puppet to make up for his weakness in melee combat. This puppet is his proud work, with both offense and defense, flexible body and high evasion. It didn't take long for this puppet to be made, but I didn't expect Chen to know it clearly. Of course. Chen showed an unfathomable smile. Chen has a very deep impression on this, Phil Liuhu, in the original work, of course he recognizes it. HMPH, as expected of the light of the stars, even this kind of thing can't hide from you. But the light of the stars, the famous star right now, actually came to Sunagakur village secretly, I don't know. Sasori's body, hiding in the hilarious amber, said vigilantly. Sasori is now 13 years old, perhaps because of his loss in his early years. Sasori's character is a little withdrawn, and he is full of vigilance and wariness about everything. She doesn't have the same fondness for Chen as she did when she was a child. 13-year-old Sasori is already a very strong puppet master. Among all the puppet masters in the village, only Chiyo can be compared with him, and his talent is excellent. However, according to Chen's speculation, the current Sasori has absolutely no strength to kill the 3 generations of Kazekage directly, and I don't know how Sasori will kill the 3 generations of Kazekage in the next year and provoke the 3rd Ninja War. Perhaps Sasori used a combination of poisoning and other means to kill the 3 generations of Kazekage. Sasori hiding in the puppet, and said lightly, Sasori, I'm here to recruit you. I set up an organization called Akatsuki, I hope you will join it and become one of them. Akatsuki, a ninja organization. That's right. Sasori snorted lightly. I didn't expect the Light of the Stars to plan in secret. I'm afraid the top of Konoha didn't know about it. If the top of Konoha knew that the hero of Konoha was actually planning this kind of thing, I don't know how it would feel. They won't know. Chen's self-confidence. Sasori was a little silent, perhaps because Chen's tone was too confident. Sasori was speechless for a while. Long silence. Sasori suddenly said, "What if I don't agree?" "You must promise." Chen's answer is simpler. "You." Chen's domineering words made Sasori finally can't help but get annoyed. Sasori said solemnly, "Uchiha Chen, you are threatening me." "If you think it's a threat, then I'm a threat," Chen said lightly. Sasori shouted angrily. Chen's indifferent attitude made Sasori full of anger. Any genius must be extremely proud, and Sasori is the same. But being so ignored by Tatsu made Sasori annoyed. Chen is very clear. If you want to conquer Sasori, you must let Sasori see his own strength, otherwise Sasori will never agree easily. If you want to convince Sasori and be obedient, you must completely defeat Sasori. To prepare, he had already set up spirit formation ninjutsu around him to prevent the battle from spreading and attracting the attention of the Sunagaku executives. Sasori was extremely annoyed at this time, and he acted violently, turning out to be the first to move towards Chen. The puppet, Fei Liuhu, fully unfolded, lying on the ground, the long iron tail swept forward, and the speed was as fast as lightning. Everything on the tail of the puppet, it is even more poisonous. As long as ordinary people are infected with this venom, they cannot be cured within 3 days, and they can only die. Sasori's poison also comes from Chiyo's heritage, so Sasori is very confident about it. Even Starlight, as long as it is poisoned, it will definitely die. Sasori is merciless, and he also wants to know how much the difference between his and Starlight's strength is, so he attacked fiercely. Chen narrowed his eyes. It's true that a newborn calf is not afraid of tigers, so let me show you my strength. Thanks for the reward of Fu Yunyu picture, Fei Liuhu. Fei Lu reminds you. 290 doesn't even have a chance to shoot. Sasori hides in the puppet and manipulates the puppet, Hai Liuhu, to attack. Since this Fei Liuhu is a human-shaped puppet, the production is also very strict. Modified, made puppet. Therefore, this humanoid puppet is quite flexible, and Sasori's manipulation of the puppet is superb, almost completely integrated with the puppet, and its actions fit. Fei Liuhu's iron tail swept over, Chen's eyes flickered, his body figured back, and he used physical techniques to dodge. But who would have thought that Fei Liuhu's speed would suddenly speed up, and the iron tail stabbed Chen's body fiercely, and actually stabbed Chen completely. Sasori was overjoyed. When Sasori was pleasantly surprised, he saw that Chen's body turned into scattered sand and scattered everywhere. It's actually a sand substitute technique. As expected of the Light of the Stars, that pair of Sharingan is really powerful. Have you even learned the sand substitute technique? Sasori's face darkened, and his tone was full of solemnity. What he attacked just now was actually Chen's stand-in. It turned out that Chen had transformed his body into a stand-in, but he didn't notice it at all, which made Sasori extremely dignified and alert to Chen. Just relying on this substitute technique, Sasori can see that Chen's strength is absolutely unfathomable. The original Tatsu was able to defeat the 3 generations of Kazekage, although it was a joint effort with Tsunade, but it was mainly the battle between Tatsu and the 3 generations of Kazekage. After these few years, I don't know how terrible Uchiha-Chen's strength has reached. You must know that when Uchiha-Chen fought against the 3 generations of Kazekage, he was only less than 15 years old and 15 years old. It was a period of rapid growth of ninja strength. Sasori became more and more cautious, checking Tatsu's position. But seeing Chen smiled faintly, his figure actually appeared behind Sasori, and said with a chuckle, "Sasori, you underestimate Sharingan too much. Under the power of my Sharingan, your every move is in vain under the insight of my Sharingan." The actions of the puppet just now were completely in my eyes. Under such circumstances, just relying on the venom of your puppet's tail, let alone kill me, it is impossible to even hurt me. Chen suddenly appeared behind Sasori, causing Sasori to be shocked. Chen's strength is more unfathomable than he expected. There was even a feeling in Sasori's heart that even so, Chen didn't take the shot with all his strength. This made Sasori feel powerless, knowing that the person in front of him was definitely the strongest opponent he had ever foreseen. Chen probably guessed Sasori's strength. This guy Sasori's strength is not weak, probably in the strength of the quasi-shadow. The 13-year-old quasi-shadow is enough to prove Sasori's talent. However, this also made Chen even more suspicious. How did Sasori in the original work kill the 3 generations of Kage? No matter how you look at it, Sasori's strength at this time is not enough to kill the 3 generations of Kage. Don't be complacent, I don't believe that you can't even hurt you. Drankin said solemnly. Red secret skill, needle 8 waves. And stingers coming out of the mouth of the puppet Fei Liuhu. The stabs came and the rows of needles were swept out, leaving almost no space for people to avoid. Within this dense offensive, as long as you are accidentally hit by poison, you are almost certain to die. Your means of attack are a bit simple. Chen shook his head and sighed softly. He was quite capable. He used the instant body technique to dodge directly, and then saw Chen's figure move, and the next time he appeared was already more than 10 meters away, avoiding the poisonous needles that were as dense as raindrops. The current growth of Sasori is still too weak, but the strength of Zunying is really not enough to see in front of Chen. After Master Jinten particle style, Chen's overall strength has risen to a new level. Among the ninjas, there are only a few people who can be called his opponents. Sasori missed a shot, and his heart was already a little anxious. Sasori's original character is very impatient and not calm. Sasori was impatient for a while when Deidara fought Gaara in the original. Missing 2 attacks in a row made Sasori feel anxious and prepared to use a wide range of tactics against Chen. Sasori is not stupid, he can see the Grandmaster's instant body, and Sharingan's demonic illusion. So Sasori has been hiding in the puppet and can't come out, in order to prevent Chen's demonic illusion, and then use the puppet's poison to deal with Chen's instant body. Sasori immediately launched an attack posture, and said softly, Red secret technique, poison rain technique. Only seeing the movements of the puppet, the whole body of the Fei Liuhu puppet stretched out. The organs of the puppet are unfolded, and there are organs on the hands, feet, abdomen, mouth, back, and even the tail of the puppet, and the organs are filled with densely packed poisonous needles. There are nearly 10,000 poisonous needles. And the range is very large, the continuous lacing out. As long as the opponent is hit by a poison needle, the poison on it is fatal. Sasori even used this trick, and it was clear that he had all his cards. Extremely angry. Chen chuckled. Sasori, it seems that this is your most powerful move right now. Not bad, I'll try how strong you can be. HMPH, you are courting death yourself, then don't blame me. Sasori roared. I only saw countless poisonous needles and poisonous stings, shooting out towards Chen with a super large range. Chen was calm from beginning to end. With such a dense concentration of poisonous needles, if you were an ordinary person, I'm afraid there would be no way to defend against it, but Chen was completely different. Chen, if you use Susanoo, you can easily resist. Or use Jinten particle style to make these needles disappear. Chen chose the latter. Since his goal is to conquer Sasori, let Sasori be completely shocked and see his true strength. Sasori, it seems that you haven't discovered it yet, and I haven't shot it yet. If I do it, I'm afraid you won't even have a chance to do it. Chen snorted. Jinten particle style, split detachment of the primitive world technique. Jinten particle style, split detachment of the primitive world technique. This. Sasori's surprised voice sounded. For automatic, see the underlined version of the novel. 291 Fear and Surrender, Sasori's condition. Split detachment of the primitive world technique. Only saw a cone appear in front of Chen. This cone exudes a faint white luster. This white luster is the power of Jintan particle style. Jintan particle style covers the full range of Sasori's lacing needles. All the poisonous needles fired by Sasori were shrouded in Jintan particle style, and Jintan particle style instantly turned them into nothing. Instant, the poisonous needles all over the sky disappeared, as if they had never appeared. All the poisonous needles disappeared, not a single one, no sound, no impact, everything was as if it had never happened. The Jintan particle style in midair also gradually shrinks and eventually dissipates completely. Jintan particle style, the blood of 3 generations of Tsuchikage. Why do you know Jintan particle style? Sasori's voice was also full of surprise. If it wasn't for the fact that he couldn't see Sasori's expression while hiding in the hilarious amber, I believe that Sasori's expression at this time must be very exciting, and most likely it was a ghostly feeling. Sasori of the Red Sand, you now believe that if I really want to do something to you, you will have absolutely no resistance now. Chen said lightly. Sasori was silent for a while. Although Jintan particle style cannot represent everything, but it greatly deterred Sasori. Besides, as Chen said, he had never shot before, and when Jintan particle style shot, Sasori was completely shocked and in a state of shock. The current 13-year-old Sasori is only a quasi-shadow, and definitely not Chen's opponent. You won. Sasori admitted somewhat bitterly, still in shock. In addition to being shocked, Sasori also had a hint of fear. He had already used all his means just now, but he still couldn't hurt Chen Min, and even now he almost didn't have the courage to shoot at Chen again. The opponent's whole cards seemed to be inexhaustible, and even used Jintan particle style to defend against his attack. When have I heard of Jintan particle style? Never before. Sasori discovered that even the major countries such as Sunagakur, Konoha and so on have never really understood the man in front of him. Thinking of what cards he had, Sasori felt his scalp go numb, and the person in front of him was definitely the strongest person he had ever seen. Sasori, join my organization. Sunagakur village can't hold your talent. In Akatsuki, you can play to your heart's content. Let your puppet technique reach its true pinnacle. Chen has a delusional nature. True pinnacle. There was a hint of strangeness in Sasori's eyes and tone. Obviously, Chen spoke to Sasori's heart. The Sunagakur village really cannot tolerate Sasori's talent. It is the person who will use the puppet technique to ultimate in the future, and even transform himself into a puppet with an immortal life. That's right, don't you want to try magic? You even transform your body into a puppet. Chen slightly dialed Sasori. Chen could feel that Sasori's breathing suddenly became heavy the moment he said those words. It was obvious that Sasori was moved. Chen's words seemed to open the door to a new world in Sasori's heart, and suddenly, Sasori yearned for it. Various forbidden techniques, even transforming the body into a puppet. This month is probably what Sasori has always dreamed of, and it is the eternal art that Sasori has been pursuing. Sasori's excitement took a while to calm down. What kind of organization is Akatsuki? Akatsuki is an organization I created, and in this organization, the only people who can enter in the future are the top ninjas from each village. On your usual actions and will provide you with protection. In exchange, you must follow the orders of the organization at critical moments. Chen simply said. Gather the top ninja Uchiha-chan from each village. It seems that you have a lot of ambition. Sasori was slightly silent and said slowly. Chen smiled but said nothing. Of course he has ambitions. Today's ninja world is turbulent, and if you want real peace, you can only unify the ninja world. From the moment Tatsu took over Akatsuki, Tatsu had already made a decision to unify the ninja world in his own way. Although I don't know what your plans are, it doesn't matter to me. Sasori pondered for a while, and finally said, but I have a condition. As long as you can agree to this condition, I will join Akatsuki. even if it is for your drive. After seeing Chen's strength and the inducement of Chen's words just now, Sasori finally decided to join Akatsuki, and his heart has gradually surrendered. In front of Tatsu's absolute power and those heart-warming rhetoric, it would be a joke to say that Sasori didn't move. Chen moved in his heart and said, "What conditions? I want you to help me kill 2 people. Sasori's tone sank, showing a hint of hatred. Oh. Chen Yin understood, but still asked. Sasori said, "There are 2 people I hate the most in my life. My parents were killed by Konoha White Fang in the last ninja war. The person I hate the most is Konoha White Fang. I know that White Fang is extremely powerful, even above Sannin, and he is also the captain of Anbu. I have almost no chance to kill him, so I want to ask you to White Fang kill." Killing White Fang. Chen heard the hatred in Sasori's tone and immediately understood. White Fang is definitely the person Sasori hates the most. When White Fang killed the Aksha couple, Sasori lost his parents and felt extremely lonely and sad. For this reason, Sasori also made 2 puppets, father and mother, to express his nostalgia for his parents. After seeing Tatsu's strength just now, Sasori has fully realized the gap between Tatsu, and also understands that he is definitely not the opponent of White Fang, so he asked Tatsu. At this time, White Fang did not commit suicide as in the original book, and was still the most capable assistant of the 3 generations of Hokage, the captain of Anbu, and even the boss of Chen in name. Sasori asked Chen to kill White Fang, and Chen shrugged, non-committal. Apart from White Fang, where is the other person? Chen asked. Sasori asked Chen to kill 2 people, one was White Fang, and he didn't know who the other was. Ask for an automatic, there will be 4 more Filu today to remind you. Collection, recommendation, score. 292 Betrayal Village. Sasori's tone is still full of anger and resentment. The other person I want you to kill is the 3rd generation of Kazekage. 3 generations of Kazekage, sure enough. No wonder Sasori finally killed 3 generations of Kazekage in the original book. It seems that Sasori has long been resentful of 3 generations of Kazekage. Why did you kill the Kazekage in your own village? Chen asked. Sasori said angrily, when my parents and grandma went to the battlefield, it was the 3 generations of Kazekage who personally assigned them. And the last ninja war was provoked by the 3 generations of Kazekage himself, and he took the initiative to attack the country of Rain and other countries. In Sasori's view, the 3rd generation of Kazekage is undoubtedly the instigator of the last ninja war, and it is also the order of the 3rd generation of Kazekage, which made his parents go to the battlefield and eventually died in that war. So Sasori passed the hatred on to 2 people, one is White Fang who killed his parents with his own hands, and the other is 3 generations of Kazekage. Chen then understood. No wonder Sasori would betray the village after killing 3 generations of Kazekage in the original book. It turns out that there is such a reason. But it just so happened that Chen Yuan also had such a plan. The current Akatsuki needs a relaxed environment to grow, and Chen also needs to use war to weaken the strength of the 5 countries, so Chen is not opposed to killing the 3 generations of Kazekage. As for White Fang, Chen has no reason to kill him, but since Sasori joins Akatsuki in exchange, it can be considered. Chen thought about it, and finally agreed to Sasori's conditions. Kill White Fang, kill Kazekage. Anyway, everything went on the right track according to Chen's plan. Akatsuki's is also officially established, and even if it breaks with Konoha, Tatsu has enough capital. Of course, Chen won't break with Konoha now. Chen still has enough time to deal with it. In that case, Sasori, come with me. Chen said lightly. Sasori's tone of surprise, you promised. Sasori didn't expect Chen to agree to his conditions so quickly. After all, in Sasori's view, his own conditions are indeed a bit harsh. Well, I promise. Chen rode. White Fang is the right-hand man of the 3 generations of Hokage, and someone who is enough to threaten Chen's plan. As for the 3rd generation of Kazekage, In order to provoke the third ninja war, the third generation of Kazekage must die. So Chen agreed to Sasori's conditions. Sasori was overjoyed, but he was still vigilant. When you kill these two people, I must be there to witness it with my own eyes. Sasori is here in case Chen deceives him. Good. Chen said lightly. As long as you can kill these two, I'll be free from now on. Sasori whispered, as if he had made some important decision. Akatsuki's people are very arrogant and no exception. Such people will make promises very solemnly. Sasori's ability to make such a promise proves that he has indeed surrendered. Very good. Chen nodded slightly. Since Sasori recognized this matter, it would be better. Chen looked at Sasori and smiled suddenly. Sasori of the Red Sand, from today onwards, you will betray the village and become missing nin. Are you ready? Sasori snorted lightly, only to see his puppet Fei Liuhu suddenly open, and Sasori walked out of Fei Liuhu. It was the first time to reveal the body in front of Chen. Sasori was 13 years old at this time, and he had grown into a handsome boy with a baby face, fair skin, red hair, slightly curly, very handsome. Only to see Sasori remove kunai, he made a scratch on his ninja forehead, and said firmly, from today, Sunagaku no longer. Sasori of the Red Sand. Scratches on the forehead, from then on it is a village of betrayal. This is enough to prove Sasori's determination. Chen nodded slightly. Sasori still has something unique. Chen suddenly took out a piece of clothing and a ring, handed it directly to Sasori, and said lightly, put it on, this will be Akatsuki's uniform in the future. Also, this ring will be a token of your joining Akatsuki. I only saw that what Chen handed to Sasori was Akatsuki's iconic clothes in the future, as well as the ring that every member of Akatsuki had. The clothes are pitch black, with blooming yuhi clouds painted on them, which looks extremely mysterious. It exuded a tinge of intimidating aura. These clothes are also made by Tatsuya long ago. Since he decided to create Akatsuki, Tatsuya prepared Akatsuki clothes very maliciously and interestingly. As for the ring that Chen gave to Sasori also has the word, Jade, on it, which is exactly the same as the ring held by Sasori in the original book. That dress looks good. After Sasori put on the ring, he put his clothes on the puppet Hiryuhu directly, and then re-entered the puppet. As a puppet master, Sasori is really not good at melee combat, so he spends most of his time in Fei Liuhu for a long time. Come on, get out of Sunagaku village before dawn. Chen looked at the gradually brightening sky and said lightly. Why don't you kill 3 generations of Kazekage? Sasori questioned. He thought that Chen, after accepting his conditions, would immediately kill 3 generations of Kazekage. It's not that easy to kill the 3 generations of Kazekage. In normal times, the 3 generations of Kazekage are surrounded by elite Sunagaku guards, which is very tricky. Let's kill White Fang first. Chen's decision was to kill White Fang first, and then kill the 3 generations of Kazekage. Sasori nodded silently. I will lead the way, I am familiar with Sunagaku village. Chen calmly followed behind Sasori, and the two left Sunagaku village together. As expected, Sasori was familiar with Sunagaku village, and took Chen down a path, and soon left Sunagaku village and walked within the territory of the Land of Winds. Sasori and Tatsu left Sunagaku village, and a day later, Sunagaku village caused quite a stir. Because he has always been regarded by Sunagaku village as the most outstanding puppet master in the future, the outstanding puppet master with the title of Sasori of the Red Sand, Chiyo's grandson Sasori, has disappeared from Sunagaku village without a trace. Anxious Chiyo searched the whole village, but he didn't know where he was. Still haven't found the slightest bit. But Sasori and Tatsu have already entered the country of rain. Sasori, they've been very calm these days. They betrayed the village now, and you've already had this kind of awareness. Chen smiled. Sasori snorted softly, of course. He asked back, what about you, Your Excellency? The Light of the Stars is also ready to betray the village at any time. Chen's eyes are distant and meaningful. I'm looking forward to that day. Ask for a monthly ticket to read the novel without underline. Please download Fei Lu novel. 293 and others. The third update, please subscribe. Hearing that Chen said that he was looking forward to the day when he betrayed the village, Sasori was a little puzzled, and he didn't know what Chen's plan was. After all, Yi-Chen's reputation and status in Konoha, there is no need to betray the village. In Sasori's view, this is completely worth the loss. Where does Sasori know that in the future the Uchiha family is destined to be ostracized by Konoha? Don't look at Chen's beauty now, but Chen himself is very clear. Konoha's high-level officials have long been wary of the Uchiha family. If nothing else, Chen has established such a merit for Konoha. Although the 3 generations of Hokage are not bad for Chen, they have hardly given Chen any real positions of power. One point is enough to prove that even the 3 generations of Hokage are not completely at ease with the Uchiha family. After all, the 3 generations of Hokage are the leaders of the village, and everything he does is premised on the interests of the village. And the Uchiha family is also increasingly dissatisfied. Although the conflict has not erupted, it has intensified. It goes on like this, it will be a matter of time before the Uchiha clan rebels. Even Chen can't change it. So Chen can only make arrangements, take care of everything, master the initiative, and wait for the time to come. Anyway, with Akatsuki in hand, Chen is already invincible. As for a direct break with Konoha, Chen has no plans for this for the time being. After all, for Chen, staying in Konoha is still good for him. Why we come to the land of rain? Sasori was puzzled. Chen smiled. Wait for someone. Waiting. Sasori looked at Chen in surprise. Well, the other Akatsuki members. Chen said lightly. Other Akatsuki members. Sasori was a little excited when he heard this, because he said earlier that Akatsuki recruited the top talents from all over the world, so Sasori wanted to see if it was true. Chen took Sasori to stay in the country of rain. The sky was raining constantly, but Chen used chakra to form a shield-like barrier around the body, isolating all the rain. And Sasori didn't feel uncomfortable hiding among the puppets. After waiting for a while, Sasori was already a little impatient. What Sasori hates most is waiting for people. Sasori hummed softly. HMPH, I'll have to see who it is in a while, but it made me wait so long. Chen Yi smiled. Why, this is impatient, but you really may not be her opponent. Is it? Sasori didn't believe it. Although he lost to Tatsu, he didn't feel that he was so unbearable. Even an ordinary member of Akatsuki couldn't win. When the two were talking, they saw a slight noise coming from Sora, only to see pieces of paper constantly flying in the sky in the distance. These sheets of paper are extremely white, like feathers, and are marked in the sky, indicating the identity of the person who comes. Conan, who was in contact with Chen. These pieces of paper were coated with a special layer of grease, which kept the pieces of paper in a state even in the heavy rain. Countless pieces of paper floated over, making Sasori a little surprised. Paper, this should be some kind of secret technique. Sasori knew that most of the people who came were the other members of Akatsuki that Tatsuya said, and he had some comparison thoughts in his heart. Chen was a little dissatisfied with what he said just now. Countless pieces of paper came from the sky. This scene was extremely spectacular, and there was a rushing sound in the sky. Even Sasori was amazed by it. It's really a bit troublesome to fight with paper instead of shuriken with such a large number of pieces of paper. Sasori secretly murmured, intending to test the opponent's strength, but even without Ji Chen by his side, he immediately tried to test it. Seeing this, Chen's expression remained unchanged, leaving Sasori to test it. Let Sasori see the strength of Conan and the others, so that Sasori has no ideas. Puppet technique, puppet double-click. Sasori shouted angrily and channeled 2 puppets to fight, only to see that Sasori's 2 puppets were the father and mother puppets, and he had never taken them out when he fought Chen before. These 2 puppets were also human-shaped puppets, and they moved violently. Under the remote control of Sasori, they were in front of those pieces of paper in a blink of an eye. Pretend to be a ghost, come out for me. Sasori snorted softly, and the two puppets opened, both armed with weapons, attacked quickly, and attacked the pieces of paper. At this moment, I saw the sheets of paper suddenly changing shape, and countless pieces of paper seemed to have spirituality, surrounding Sasori's two puppets. Sasori manipulated the two puppets to attack frantically, with first-class speed and response, but there were too many pieces of paper in the sky, even the puppets were helpless. In the end, the two puppets were completely wrapped in pieces of paper and could not even move. Damn! Sasori's anger rose when he saw that he was falling behind, and he was ready to start again immediately. Stop! Chen stopped Sasori and said, Conan, you should stop too. Hearing Chen's words, the paper in the sky seemed to stop, and it stopped in an instant. After a while, these pieces of paper slowly gathered into human form, and a beautiful shadow appeared. Kane was also wearing the black Yuhi cloud coat, but it couldn't hide his graceful figure. He had long light blue-purple hair, elegant clothes, his hair was gently pulled back, his face was delicate, and he did not wear makeup. But like a creamy white jade, unbelievably beautiful, with a small nose bridge, moist star eyes, and a willow waist that cannot be grasped. Was even more wonderful was that the piece of paper that filled the sky just now turned into the wings of the girl in front of her, allowing her to fly in midair. The white piece of paper was like an angel's wings, and the girl was like an angel. Sasori was stunned, not expecting that the one who had the upper hand in his tentative confrontation just now was a girl, and such a beautiful girl. Chen also couldn't help but let out a smile. After a few years, the girl at the time has become a goddess now. Person who came is of course Conan, and Conan's current strength has also improved rapidly, reaching the quasi-shadow in the past few years. Even better than Sasori. This is of course, Conan is older than Sasori, and with Tatsu's careful guidance, it is normal to be stronger than Sasori. 3 shifts, please be automatic, please subscribe, the more you subscribe, the more watermelon updates. There is also a 4th update. 294 reasons to die. 4 more, please subscribe. Conan flew in midair with the help of the sheets of paper in the sky, gradually approaching Chen, revealing a deep joyful color. At this time, Conan had a touch of closeness. Otherwise, Conan, who was fighting with Sasori just now, was completely refusing to be 1,000 miles away, and was simply extremely cold. Who was hugged on a whim at that time is indeed getting more and more beautiful and has become a goddess. Lian Chen himself was full of emotion, the girl in front of him was indeed a perfect masterpiece. Brother Chen. Conan called out with joy, and in a blink of an eye, he approached Chen, the piece of paper on his body gradually dissipated, and he approached Chen within a few breaths, and then he naturally grabbed Chen's wrist and burst into a smile. Chen also smiled and held Conan's hand. Chen and Conan have been in frequent contact in recent years, and Conan has acted as Chen's eyes, telling Chen all the changes in Akatsuki, and also providing a lot of information. It can be said that today's Conan is completely Chen's most important right-hand man. Conan, let me introduce to you, this is the member I just recruited, named Sasori, Sasori of the Red Sand from Sunagakur village. Chen pointed to Sasori and said. Sasori snorted, a little dissatisfied, but he saw Conan's strength. As Uchiha Chen said, Akatsuki is full of geniuses from various countries, and Sasori is very afraid of the strength of the girl in front of him. I don't know how many such talents are under Uchiha Chen. Sasori of the Red Sand, I once heard your name. Conan glanced at Sasori. Brother Chen once praised you for your talent. Sasori said calmly, thank you for your compliment, the ninjutsu just now was very good. If Brother Chen hadn't stopped you, you would have suffered a big loss. Conan was merciless, his voice soft, as if he was saying something unrelated. Sasori was a little annoyed, but had to admit that what Conan said was the truth. If it wasn't for Chen's intentional obstruction just now, Sasori might not have been able to win Conan, and most likely would have lost. As outstanding genius ninjas, Sasori and Conan naturally have a competitive mind. Tatsuki nodded secretly. In Akatsuki's environment, most of them are geniuses and freaks. Presumably Sasori will be stimulated after seeing Conan's strength, and will work harder in the future. Conan is also ruthless towards Sasori. Conan's character is like this, except for Tatsuya. Conan has such a stern attitude towards everyone. Chen lightly kneaded Conan's hand, signaling Conan to stop provoking Sasori's annoyance. Conan was holding his hand by Chen, his face slightly yuhi. It was surprisingly quiet, and a smile appeared on the corner of Chen's mouth. The saying goes, one thing falls into another, and in front of Chen, they are always very well behaved. Conan, is there any news recently? Chen asked. Akatsuki's intelligence network, as well as Tatsu's own intelligence, has always been managed by Conan. Because it is handed over to anyone else, Chen is not at ease. Only Conan Chen can trust without reservation. Conan did not disappoint Chen either, and it was done well from start to finish. The reason why Chen brought Sasori to find Conan. Since he decided to kill White Fang, Chen planned to get White Fang's information from Conan first, and then he planned to kill White Fang. As the captain of Konoha's Anbu, White Fang has outstanding strength and is trusted by 3 generations. Once White Fang dies, it will definitely cause a sensation in Konoha, so Chen must arrange everything properly in order to kill White Fang. Conan said, yes, we have been paying close attention to the movements of the 5 countries. Recently, the war between the 5 countries has become more and more intense. It has been so many years since the last ninja war, and it is very likely that there will be a renewed war. Possible. Chen smiled. Conan's analysis was good. Chen is based on the experience of cheating in his previous life and knew that the 3rd ninja war would break out recently. Conan, on the other hand, is based on intelligence, which is no easy task. Chen nodded slightly, approvingly, and looked at Conan. It's hard work. If war breaks out, it will be good for Akatsuki. Well. Conan chuckled lightly, feeling happy to receive Chen's compliment. Chen Dao, by the way, I need to know information about a person. This is also one of the targets I plan to eradicate recently, Konoha White Fang. Konoha White Fang. There was a look of surprise on Conan's face, a little surprised. Well, what's wrong? Conan said, actually, I am also preparing to tell you about the Konoha White Fang. Oh. Chen narrowed his eyes. Conan whispered in Tatsuya's ear to prevent Sasori from hearing important information. Our Akatsuki's secret base in the Land of Rain was recently investigated by Konoha's Anbu, and it was almost exposed. And Konoha's Anbu is headed by the Konoha White Fang. You mean the Konoha White Fang has noticed the existence of Akatsuki? The cold light flashed in Chen's eyes. This is unexpected news. White Fang is already investigating Akatsuki's intelligence. I don't know if it is the 3rd generation's inspiration or his own intention, which makes Chen very vigilant. The existence of Akatsuki is Chen's most important trump card, which must never be known to the top of Konoha. Immediately, Chen began to kill White Fang. White Fang is indeed a threat. If White Fang learns of Akatsuki's existence, Chen will be very passive, and it will definitely be detrimental to Chen's situation. Conan shook his head lightly and said, Konoha White Fang should not have inquired about it yet. Our important information is that we only know our organization in the Land of Rain, and we have not obtained key information. It really surprised me. I didn't have much intention to kill White Fang. But now it gives me a reason to make him die. Chen whispered. White Fang, already on the list of sure kills. 4 shifts, please support, please automatic, please subscribe, please monthly ticket. Tale of the group, to read the underlined version of the novel. 295 Chen, besieged White Fang. Ask for monthly pass. White Fang actually knew about Akatsuki's existence, and was very suspicious of Akatsuki, so he took Konoha Anbu to investigate. This made Chen extremely vigilant, and he also wanted to kill White Fang. Once the White Fang finds out about Chen's connection with Akatsuki, it will obviously be extremely unfavorable for Chen's situation, and will even destroy all of Chen's plans. If one pulls the trigger, Chen can't take risks at this critical moment. Chen had an indifferent attitude towards White Fang, but now he must die. It's just not clear whether this is White Fang's own assertion, or even 3 generations have doubts. Chen secretly said in his heart, "I'm a little wary. Looks like we have to get rid of White Fang." Chen said lightly. Conan looked at Chen with a pair of bright eyes, and said softly, "I'm going to. My strength has improved now, and I can help you too." Chen saw the look of anticipation in Conan's eyes. Looking at this extremely bright girl, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The other party didn't care. Always thinking of him. The reason why Conan is practicing ninjutsu is that he will be able to help Chen one day. "Well, let's go with you this time too." Chen rode. "But that's fine too." Chen squeezed Conan's bright and jade-like face, turned to look at Sasori, and said, "The 2 of you are with me, and we will kill Konoha White Fang together." There was a trace of undisguised killing intent in Chen's tone, making the surrounding air a bit colder. Both Conan and Sasori agreed, and Sasori was even more excited. Although he couldn't take revenge with his own hands, it would be a pleasure to see his enemy die in front of his own eyes. "Conan, find all the current information about White Fang, and tell me the exact location of White Fang. Let's discuss a plan to get rid of White Fang." Chen rode. "Yes. The current White Fang is still investigating Akatsuki's intelligence in the Land of Rain, while leading a group of Anbu from Konoha. White Fang's strength is even higher than that of Sanin, very strong, and even Chen has to be a little bit jealous of him. What's more, White Fang's subordinates also have a group of Anbu's elite ninjas, which must not be underestimated." Chen estimated that White Fang's strength should be left and right. Chen not only wanted to kill White Fang this time, but also concealed from Konoha's eyes and ears, so that Konoha no longer doubted it was indeed one. To this end, Chen also specially arranged one. Conan quickly got all the current information about White Fang and reported it to Chen. "White Fang is currently in Rain, and we have a stronghold in Akatsuki very close. There are 12 elite ninjas from Konoha Anbu around White Fang, all of whom are above the elite Jonin. White Fang is also very vigilant and has been carefully investigating Akatsuki's intelligence. I don't know how much he has collected so far. Information about us." Conan was beside Chen and said in a low voice. Chen smiled. "White Fang is a good opponent, just to test your strength, Sasori. Conan, when the time comes, you will first take action against White Fang and Konoha's Anbu, and when you can't stand it, I will take another shot." The arrangement of Chen is also relatively simple, but effective. White Fang is undoubtedly one of the top ninjas in Konoha, and his strength is superb. Chen is also looking forward to fighting him. But before that, Chen plans to let Sasori and Conan deal with White Fang first. One can try the depth of White Fang, and the other is that this is also a very good training for Sasori and Conan. This kind of showdown with the powerful ninja is definitely a valuable experience. Both Conan and Sasori are currently in a period of rapid growth, and it is necessary to have them involved in this level of combat. Yes. Conan and Sasori nodded in unison, both completely agreeing with Chen's actions. Conan and Sasori thought that their opponent was the famous Konoha White Fang, and they also had a strong fighting spirit. Especially Sasori, who has a blood feud with White Fang, is even more excited and looking forward to it. Sasori is now gradually obeying Chen's orders. After seeing Chen's strength and being intimidated by Conan just now, Sasori is now completely honest and knows that there are days outside the sky, and there are people outside people. Very good, Conan, where is the exact location of White Fang? Chen rode. I'll lead the way, just follow me brother Chen. Conan smiled sweetly, Although Chen had fought in the Land of Rain for several years, he was more familiar with the terrain of the Land of Rain, who had grown up here since he was a child. Chen nodded slightly. Conan is very moving at this moment, like an angel. Immediately after, Sasori also quickly followed, but unfortunately Sasori can't fly ninjutsu, and his action is 1 point slower than Conan. But Sasori followed Conan closely, wondering if he should create a flying puppet. Chen is not in a hurry to keep up. Chen can easily change his own gravity and fly in the sky. 3 of them disappeared from the rain curtain in an instant, heading towards White Fang's location, intending to kill White Fang. Chen is also looking forward to the upcoming battle. Konoha White Fang is famous in 5 countries, and its strength surpasses that of Sanin and the captain of Anbu's. In addition, there were 12 Anbu's elite ninjas beside White Fang. Even Chen didn't dare to be careless. This battle, Chen has already been laid out, and when it is over, White Fang will definitely be killed. Please be automatic, please subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more I will update. Let's order some monthly passes too. 296 Do It, Kill. Under Conan's lead, Tatsu and Sasori followed Conan and soon approached an Akatsuki stronghold in the Land of Rain. Near Akatsuki's stronghold is where White Fang is. Surrounding is empty, the wilderness is empty, only the heavy rain in the sky, and there is a Wangyang everywhere. There are almost no trees, only some weeds and water plants, none of which are knee-high. Under such circumstances, it would be very difficult for Chen and the 3 of them to completely hide their bodies. Chen couldn't help sighing inwardly. White Fang was still very strategic and very vigilant. In this plain-like environment, the surroundings are almost unobstructed, and it is very difficult to sneak attack on White Fang. The 3 of Conan, Tatsu, and Sasori gathered in a place about several thousand meters away from White Fang and other Konoha Anbu positions to hide. Conan said, "The other party has a sentient ninja, and we are very likely to be discovered if we get closer." Chen nodded slightly, and also looked ahead. Chen also had some ninjutsu skills, and could feel where White Fang and the others were. White Fang and the others were in a slightly elevated position in the center of the plain, where they could clearly observe the surrounding movements. As expected of Konoha White Fang, it's really tricky. Sasori also snorted softly, but the killing intent became stronger. Chen smiled lightly. "You two, Sasori will attack from the ground, Conan will attack from the sky. Kill each other's perception ninja first. I will support you at any time." Good. Sasori has a puppet that can easily burrow into the ground, while Conan can use the paper secret technique to fly in the sky to attack, and the 2 can cooperate. One is from the ground and the other is in the sky. The 2 are enough to catch White Fang and other ninjas off guard. After hearing Chen's arrangement, Sasori and Conan have already started to move. Only to see Sasori hiding in Fei Liuhu, he slammed into the ground, and a big hole was drilled out of the ground in an instant, and Sasori also walked through the ground. As for Conan, it turns into pieces of snow-white paper, flying high in the sky. Conan's graceful body also turns into pieces of paper, flying in the sky, fluttering. The scenery is so beautiful that people can't bear it live in admiration. Conan turned into a piece of paper and disappeared at the top of the sky, making it difficult to notice for a while. Sasori and Conan are divided into the sky and the underground, which is enough to temporarily hide the eyes and ears of each other's perceptual ninjas. After all, even perceptual ninjas are not omnipotent, and they cannot perceive the existence of places under any circumstances. Gradually, both Sasori and Conan moved closer to where the others were. It was night time. Distance, where White Fang and others are. Kiba and 12 of Konoha Anbu's elite are temporarily resting. One White Fang was in the middle, while the 3 other members of the wood, including the sentient ninja, were on alert. Although it was late at night, White Fang and the others did not relax their vigilance at all. Chen also knows the nature of White Fang, and always pays attention to the situation on the battlefield, as long as Conan and Sasori. If there is any crisis, Chen is ready to rescue. Both Conan and Sasori are gradually approaching Anbu ninjas such as White Fang. The distance is getting closer. 1,000 meters, 500 meters, 300 meters, 200 meters are getting closer and closer, which means that Conan and Sasori are more and more likely to be discovered. Chen also held his breath and kept an eye on the situation in the field. The distance between the two sides was less than 50 meters, and the perception ninja of Konoha Anbu was already within the attack range of Conan and Sasori. As expected of Conan and Sasori, being able to do this under the eyes of each other's perceptive ninjas is very good, although there is a reason for the other party's carelessness. Chen stroked his palms and sighed, sighing to himself. Conan and Sasori are indeed the members of Akatsuki in the original book, and they are indeed unique. I saw that Sasori and Conan were both acting at the same time in an instant, and they made a sudden move. Sasori and Conan approached the perceptive ninja of Konoha, and the perceptive ninja opened his eyes suddenly, as if he was aware of something, and shouted suddenly. Not good, 2 chakras are approaching, there is an enemy attack. As soon as the perceptive ninja's voice fell, he saw countless pieces of white paper fluttering down from the sky. These pieces of paper were like sharp blades, falling from the sky. The countless pieces of paper were sharper than a shuriken, and there were too many pieces of paper. What's more terrifying is that the detonating symbols are pasted on these pieces of paper. Hundreds of thousands of detonating talismans exploded together, and the chakra fluctuated violently, turning into a loud bang. Paper blast. Conan's cold voice sounded in the sky, and his expression was cold, like a judgment. The huge explosion caused a powerful shock wave. The center of the explosion was Anbu's perceptive ninja, who was completely submerged in the explosion before he could even let out a scream. An instant, Conan killed an enemy's perceptive ninja. The violent shockwave and power caused by the explosion also affected other ninjas, and White Fang reacted in an instant, shouted angrily, and said solemnly, Sweden, water style, water barrier. White Fang shouted angrily, the surrounding water condensed out, and the chakra around him surged, only to see a full height. The water waves of more than 10 meters crashed, blocking him and the rest of the Konoha Anbu ninja at once, and it would also explode. The power of disconnection. The shock wave and flame generated by the explosion are all resisted by this Sweden water style. Chen can see at a glance that White Fang is very skilled in the use of Sweden water style. This water barrier is definitely one of the top Sweden water style defensive ninjutsu, which can block Conan's explosion as much as possible. If it wasn't for White Fang's timely action, Conan's blow would have killed at least half of Anbu's ninjas or were seriously injured. The enemy is very strong. Everyone be careful, Jimyu is dead. White Fang reminds all ninjas that Jimyu is the title of the sentient ninja. Suddenly, the Konoha Anbu ninjas headed by White Fang were all dignified. Seize this opportunity, and Sasori in the ground has also started. 297 God wants you to die. 3 more, please subscribe. Sasori seized the opportunity and manipulated the 2 puppets, the father and the mother, to emerge from the ground in an instant. Taste. The main body of Sasori was still in Fei Liuhu, and the 2 puppets, father and mother, instantly launched an offensive. The organs were released, and hundreds of poisonous needles were stimulated in an instant. Sasori's unexpected offensive. Once it hits the enemy, the effect is absolutely powerful. After all, Sasori's poison can only be solved by Tsunade in this ninja world. Once hit by a poison needle, it is almost equivalent to being summoned by death. The heavy rain in the sky did not affect the speed of the puppet and the poison needle in the slightest. Almost in a few breaths, the poison needle was already in front of quite a few Konoha Anbu and White Fang. Doden, Earth style, the dirt wall. But I didn't want White Fang to seem as if he had been prepared for a long time, and his movements were even quicker, using Doden, Earth style. All I saw was an earthen wall 5 or 6 meters high, which appeared in an instant, blocking the front of White Fang and blocking the attack of the Sasori puppet. White Fang's reaction was quick, as if he had expected it, and in an instant, Sasori's long-prepared offensive was resolved. This wave of sneak attack by Sasori and Conan, under the play of White Fang, only killed one of Konoha's sentient ninjas. Chen squinted his eyes, which was indeed unexpected. It was discovered. Sasori was even more surprised. His planned attack was actually blocked by the other party, which really surprised Sasori. White Fang's voice came. Just now, Jimyu said before his death that there are 2 enemy chakras. Under my investigation, I found that there was still a faint trace of chakra in the ground, so I knew that you were hiding in the ground. When Sasori and Conan heard the words, they were both extremely solemn. The other party was really not to be underestimated. They were very experienced. They let their well-prepared strikes resolve, and in the end they only killed one of the other's enemies. Sasori and Conan couldn't make a single blow, so they looked at each other wisely and decided to deal with White Fang together. I saw pieces of paper in the sky flying everywhere, and finally turned into a human form next to Sasori, revealing Conan's appearance. Sasori and Conan were both wearing the black Yuhi cloud clothes, and they also wore Akatsuki rings on their hands, and there was a hint of war in their eyes. Sasori only now has time to look at White Fang, only to see that White Fang is holding a short white blade that glows with white light, which is the origin of his White Fang title. White Fang is a middle-aged man of about 40 years old. He looks good, but the most conspicuous is the iconic silver hair of the Hitaki family. The dozen or so enemies of White Fang and Konoha were also extremely vigilant, with a dignified expression, always paying attention to the changes in the situation in front of them. White Fang carefully paid attention to Conan and Sasori's disguise, and said solemnly, "You are the ninjas of Akatsuki. It seems that my guess is really good. Your Akatsuki organization is not." The 2 members of the general ninja organization are actually accurate, the strength of the shadow, and so young. White Fang was very vigilant. This time his Akatsuki was suspicious, because he found the clues of Akatsuki and Konoha, and he became suspicious, so he brought Anbu's people to come. The Land of Rain probes Akatsuki's intelligence. Although there are no major announcements so far, White Fang's intuition tells him that the origin of this Akatsuki is definitely not simple, and there may be a big secret involved. It seems that it is so. White Fang is even more vigilant, knowing that Akatsuki is not easy. "Konoha White Fang, you must die here today," Sasori said coldly. He couldn't contain the hatred in his heart. Sasori's hatred for White Fang had reached its peak. When White Fang heard the hatred in Sasori's tone, he couldn't help being a little surprised and stunned. He looked at Sasori and said, "You should be a puppet master. Listening to your tone, it seems that you have a deep hatred with me." "Konoha White Fang, I'll let you know that the Akisha couple from Sunagakure village died in your hands, right?" Sasori said coldly. It was only then that White Fang suddenly realized, "So you are actually the Sunagakure Akasha couple, you are Sasori of the Red Sand." White Fang reacted suddenly and knew Sasori's identity. Sasori sneered, "I can't believe that the famous Konoha White Fang knew about me. I'm really honored." The rest of the Konoha ninjas realized that the person in front of them turned out to be Sunagakure's genius puppet master, Sasori of the Red Sand. Over the past few years, Sasori's reputation has gradually grown louder, and even Konoha has heard that a genius puppet master named Sasori of the Red Sand has appeared in Sunagakure village. Sasori of the Red Sand, even you joined this organization called Akatsuki. It seems that Akatsuki's plot is really no trivial matter. White Fang thoughtfully looked at Conan again. "It's just this one that I haven't seen before, and it seems that he is also an important person in Akatsuki." Just now, Conan detonated the piece of paper, causing a violent explosion, which left a deep impression on White Fang. In White Fang's opinion, Conan is even more of a threat than Sasori of the Red Sand. "I am the angel of Akatsuki," Conan said lightly. From Conan's point of view, Chen is the most godlike existence in her heart, and any words of Chen are worth implementing without hesitation, just like a god. And she herself is the messenger of Chen, of course, the messenger of God. Angel. A cold light flashed in White Fang's eyes, and he sneered with some disdain. It seems that Akatsuki's leader is really arrogant when he calls himself a god. Anyway, I will clean up the two of you first, and then I will force you to find out the specific information of Akatsuki, so that I can report it to the 3 generations. Konoha White Fang, you are the real megalomaniac. The gods of Akatsuki want you to die, and you must die here today too. Conan's voice remained calm. Regardless of was Conan or Sasori, they were all ready to attack Konoha White Fang, and even in the face of White Fang, who was even better than Sanin, they still dared to act. Everyone is ready to act. Don't underestimate these two. White Fang also instructed Anbu beside him. His eyes became gradually serious, and finally shot. Ask for a monthly ticket. 298 Terrible White Fang. 4 more. Chen intends to hone Conan and Sasori, and also takes a look at the level of White Fang's strength. Conan and Sasori both work together on offense. Paper God Dance. I only saw Conan whispering, and then I saw the sky full of paper, and snow-white paper was flying everywhere. These pieces of paper were extremely sharp and turned into sharp knives towards White Fang and a dozen other Konohas. Anbu Ninja attacked and left. Paper danced all over the sky, causing strong explosions one after another, and the sound of roaring in the ears was incessant, and the sound of the explosion exploded, and the shock wave also spread. This offensive. Sasori on the side was also amazed. The woman beside him was really fierce, and she seemed to have a strong relationship with Uchiha Chen, which gave Sasori a sense of competition. However, Sasori also quickly attacked. Red secret technique, puppet sword. I only saw a mechanism appearing on the puppet controlled by Sasori, and then 8 puppets were channeled by Sasori. Sasori mastered 10 puppets with both hands at the same time. The direction is also rapidly approaching towards the encirclement and suppression of White Fang and others. This is also Sasori's strongest strength, manipulating 10 puppets at the same time. It is also the limit of most puppet masters. Because there are only 10 fingers in the human body, and one finger can only manipulate one puppet at most, so this is almost the ultimate of the puppet master. Chiyo is famous for being able to manipulate the 10 people of Kinmatsu. Of course, Sasori can manipulate hundreds of puppets after transforming himself into a puppet in the later stage, but that's because he transformed his body into a puppet. Conan and Sasori cooperated, and their offensive was extremely violent. For a time, except for White Fang, the rest of Konoha's ninjas felt great pressure. Most of Konoha's Anbu are only around the elite Jonin. Strength, of course, is far inferior to Sasori and Conan, not to mention the cooperation of the two. The same is true for Sasori and Conan's plans. Although White Fang is strong, it is impossible to protect these Anbus of Konoha all the time. Let's take the opportunity to solve these Anbus first. Sasori and Conan's cooperation made Chen also nodded slightly, showing a little approval. Color. Under the strong offensive of Conan and Sasori, the Anbu who saw only those Konoha were finally unable to hold on and were facing great pressure. Paper exploded, the puppets attacked, and the two attacked each other, filled with rich chakra, making the surrounding atmosphere seem to freeze. There seemed to be a vacuum all around because of the battle between Sasori, Conan and Konoha's people, and a powerful aura spread out. Within a few dozen meters around, there are traces of all the people fighting. Konoha Anbu's pressure has increased greatly, and even White Fang is a little overwhelmed. After all, whether it is Sasori or Conan, both of them have a huge attack range. It is obvious that they want White Fang to take care of everyone in Konoha. Under the torrential rain, Sasori and Conan's strength finally took the initiative and injured several Konoha's Anbu, showing great strength. PFF'd. An Anbu member's mask shattered, spitting out a mouthful of blood, his face turned pale, and he was hit by Sasori's puppet. Kamikaze. When White Fang saw that Anbu vomited blood and was seriously injured, he was immediately annoyed. Sasori said slightly proudly, "Humph, this person was hit by my puppet, and my puppet weapon is all drenched with venom. As long as he is hit, he will definitely die, and no one can escape this fate." Sasori is very confident about his poison. White Fang has been on the battlefield for a long time, and even fought against Chio and the Red Sand couple. Knowing the power of Sasori's venom, his face turned gloomy. "Sasori of the Red Sand, you dare to attack the members of Konoha Anbu, or aren't you afraid that I, Konoha, will want you? You will have no place in Sunagakure village." Seeing that his subordinates were seriously injured by poisoning, White Fang finally looked gloomy for the first time, threatening Sasori. However, Sasori smiled disdainfully. "I have betrayed the village and am no longer from Sunagakure village. White Fang, don't threaten me with these, this is your burial place today." Sasori completely hates White Fang, so Sasori doesn't show mercy. White Fang was slightly stunned. How could he have thought that Sasori had betrayed the village, and instinctively had a bad premonition in his heart. White Fang also realized the seriousness of the matter, and warned the remaining Anbu of Konoha in a deep voice. "You pay attention, this battle is very critical, be careful of the attacks of the two people in front of you, especially this puppet master, whose puppet is on top. There is a deadly venom, and as long as it is hit, it is definitely worse." Warning made all the present Konoha Anbu feel the approach and threat of death. White Fang would not say such a thing under normal circumstances. It seems that the situation is indeed extremely serious. These Anbus also saw that Sasori and Konan are definitely not easy to deal with. The fight just now made these Anbus secretly shocked. The strength of this boy and girl is extremely terrifying, yet he is so threatening at such a young age. White Fang looked at Sasori and Konan, suddenly moved his hands, and quickly hand seal. Both Sasori and Konan immediately felt that a powerful chakra condensed and gathered on White Fang's body. This chakra rose into the sky and exploded continuously. Appeared, Lord White Fang's secret art. A few Anbu next to him even exclaimed, extremely excited, and the uneasy thoughts just disappeared instantly, as if there was nothing wrong with White Fang. Chen, who was in the distance, also focused on White Fang's secret technique, focusing on White Fang's body, paying attention to the changes of White Fang. Only to see White Fang's chakra rising into the sky, a terrifying chakra bred out, extremely powerful. Even Rang Chen frowned slightly, feeling the power of White Fang. And Sasori and Konan, who were very close to White Fang, are even more so. Sasori and Konan only feel that White Fang's chakra is like a stormy sea, overwhelming the sky, and there is nowhere to hide. This is White Fang's very powerful secret technique. This chakra condensation is almost as good as Susanoo's. It really deserves to be White Fang. Chen stared ahead and muttered to himself. Only seeing the chakra rising into the sky, Konan and Sasori were forced to retreat in front of this chakra, showing a bit of fear. The terrifying White Fang finally showed his true strength. Please subscribe for updates. 299 Final Showdown. Ask for monthly pass. White Fang let out a low voice. The hand seal in his hand had reached the final stage. Secret technique, White Fang. Only see the chakra around White Fang condensed and lingered around him, and at the same time, the white short blade in White Fang's hand also burst into a little light. Mysticism, White Fang. Chen has never seen White Fang use this move, and this should also be White Fang's trump card. This ninjutsu has the same name as White Fang's nickname, which is obviously extraordinary. Even Chen pays attention to this technique of White Fang. White Fang was wrapped in chakra, the light blue chakra changed, and gradually turned into pure white. At the same time, White Fang's whole person became completely different, as if he was like a peerless sword, a sword unsheathed. Both Konan and Sasori felt a chill in their hearts. Sasori of the Red Sand, today I will take the two of you seriously wounded and captured, and then I will ask you all about Akatsuki. Although you two are strong, you are definitely not my opponents in this state. White Fang said coldly, his eyes moved with a dazzling expression, and he had reached Sasori's side in an instant. Blinking technique. So fast. Sasori's heart skipped a beat, and the teleportation technique that White Fang used at this time was also based on speed. It simply relied on the movement of the physical body, and the speed reached an astonishing level. White Fang was aggressive, and in a panic, Sasori could only use 10 puppets to block in front of him, and at the same time manipulated these puppets to release poisonous needles and ninjutsu. For a time, the air was filled with the sound of chakra and poison needles, and they attacked White Fang. However, White Fang was not afraid at all. When he saw that the pure white chakra formed by the secret technique just created an absolutely defensive space in front of him, it completely resisted Sasori's poison needle and the ninjutsu released by the puppet. This technique is really powerful. Chakra has formed an absolute defense in front of him. It is almost impossible to break his defense. Sasori thought to himself. Afterwards, I saw the short blade in White Fang's hand burst out with a strong luster, wielding a sword-like, half-moon-shaped white light. Secret technique, kill in half a month. Along with White Fang's light drink, he saw the terrifying power of this knife erupt, and this blow instantly enveloped Sasori's puppet. Only a loud bang was heard, and 66 of Sasori's 10 puppets were shattered by this terrifying blow, and the puppets were broken into a large piece, which made Sasori extremely painful. Every puppet was made by the puppet master with all his hard work. Even a puppet master's artwork was more important than his life, but it was instantly broken by White Fang. To this blow, I was also surprised by this blow. Yan, as expected of the White Fang, shattered Sasori's 666 puppets with one blow. You must know that these puppets are made of special materials, and ordinary ninjutsu is basically ineffective, but White Fang smashed 666s at once. White Fang, who used the secret technique just now, no matter what, is body speed. Even the chakra has skyrocketed, and it has also formed an absolute defense composed of chakra. Quote. Chen immediately analyzed the characteristics of White Fang's secret technique. However, even though he analyzed it, Chen also felt that White Fang's strength was indeed a stronger ninja than Sanin, and it was indeed unique. White Fang smashed Sasori's puppet with one blow, but it didn't stop. All of a sudden, he saw him wielding a short blade again, slashing out again, almost too fast to avoid. Short blade was like a half-moon, and it was a blow to the air, but Sasori couldn't avoid it at this time. Although he was hiding in the hilarious amber, he was hit hard by this blow. Sasori's Fei Liu who rolled out more than 10 meters and fell heavily into the distance. Immediately after, White Fang turned his attention to Conan, ready to attack Conan. Although Conan was feeling a lot of pressure, his face was still cold in this state, and the sheets of paper flying all over his body flew towards White Fang like raindrops. White Fang did not evade at all, allowing these pieces of paper to attack. The chakra on his body formed an absolute defense, forming a barrier to help him resist the attack. Conan's attack was ineffective, and White Fang was getting closer and closer to Conan. White Fang slashed again, and the white light blade reappeared, ready to attack Conan, but at this moment, Chen finally made his move. I only saw Chen appearing as Zero, wearing an Akatsuki coat with a black Yuhi cloud, wearing a special mask, and a Zero ring in his hand, blocking Conan in an instant. Conan thought she would be hit by White Fang's blow, but she didn't expect Chen to come forward to protect her, so she let out a soft cry. Sweden water style wall of size. The water blasting in front of Chen, forming a chakra water wall more than 10 meters high, and blocking Chen's body in an instant. The sound of water was incessant, flowing out from both sides. At the same time, Chen relied on this Sweden water style to resist White Fang's blow, and also saved Conan. Here comes another one, this strength. White Fang's pupils shrank, and at a glance, he could see the extraordinariness of Chen. The person who came dressed was obviously a member of Akatsuki, and his strength far surpassed Sasori of the Red Sand and the girl in front of him. It was absolutely extraordinary. White Fang has been fighting for many years. Is very sensitive to the senses, and determines that the person in front of him is extraordinary. At the same time, White Fang had a very strange feeling in his heart, and he always felt that the person in front of him seemed to be a little weird. Conan, you and Sasori should step back first. You are not White Fang's opponents. You go and deal with Konoha's Anbu. Chen said lightly, staring at White Fang. Yes. Conan stepped aside according to his words, and Sasori also got up from a distance from the control of Hiryuhu. Although Sasori was injured, he was still able to fight. Chen looked at White Fang and did not speak again. White Fang noticed Sasori and Conan's respectful and obedient attitude towards Chen, and he had a slight understanding in his heart. It seems that you are the leader of Akatsuki, and they both obey you. Chen said lightly, not bad. I didn't expect to meet Akatsuki's leader here. It seems that today is destined to be a tough battle. White Fang showed a slightly bitter smile, but the fighting intent in his eyes became hot, and White Fang knew very well how strong the opponent was. This final battle of life and death has finally begun. Asking for a monthly ticket. 300 peak ninjutsu. Instant, Chen and White Fang confronted each other. Both of them were very cautious, and even more aware of each other's terrifying aspects. Akatsuki's leader, I don't know what kind of strength he has, or I'll check it out. White Fang said coldly, his expression still solemn, but he had already acted. I only saw that the chakra around White Fang grew explosively again. The color of White Fang's chakra is completely different from the light blue chakra of most people. After using this secret technique, White Fang's chakra is soothing. Amazing pure white, amazing. Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. He didn't expect that White Fang's chakra could go even further. This momentum is not inferior to Susanoo's state of Konoha White Fang. However, according to Chen's estimation, White Fang's state certainly cannot last for too long, and it is definitely impossible to continue in this state. Konoha White Fang, don't struggle, your destiny is doomed to death. Chen said lightly. The chakras around his body were also surging out, only to see Chen's chakras also rising into the sky, forming a stream of air, blasting out, and it was not inferior to White Fang. The surrounding Konoha, Anbu, Sasori, Conan saw this scene and couldn't help but be stunned. White Fang has used some kind of secret technique to reach the current terrifying level, but Chen's chakra is completely natural, and the explosion is even worse than White Fang's secret technique state. Even White Fang's eyes, there was also a look of horror in his eyes. You have such a terrifying strength, but you have never seen it in the ninja world. Who are you? White Fang's expression became more solemn, and asked in a deep voice. Chen smiled lightly and said nothing. In fact, the reason why Chen's chakra is so powerful is because Chen has cultivated Yangdun. That after cultivating Yangdun, his chakra has grown considerably and became stronger than before. Over the years, Chen Yangdun has also cultivated to a very deep level, and the distance that can make the eyes reach the eternal Mangekyo is just a thin line away, which is naturally powerful. All people with the power of Yangdun in their bodies, such as Senju Hashirama, Naruto, etc., are not ordinary chakras, which is enough to explain the effect of Yangdun on chakra. Stop talking nonsense, let's do it. Chen said lightly. White Fang's expression became more dignified. He clenched the short blade in his hand, moved violently, and instantly came to Chen's face, and then he slashed out with a knife, showing an overwhelming trend, and came swiftly. Secret technique, 3 cuts in half a month. White Fang growled. I only saw the moment when White Fang shouted the 3 cuts of the half moon, and when the power in the hands of White Fang reached its peak, the half-moon-shaped chakra slashed towards Chen. Chen Yi did not show weakness, and quickly hand-seal, escape, the wall of the giant rock. This is a super high-level defense Doden, Earth-style technique. The rocks on the ground are suddenly raised, and the range covers dozens of meters, blocking the front. White Fang's short blade slashed out, and collided with the rock wall. The two collided, making a deafening sound, and the surrounding earth shook. The ground was also cracked several meters long, and everything changed immediately, becoming extremely terrifying. White Fang's blow was earth-shattering. Although Chen resisted with Doden Earth style, the huge stone wall was smashed by White Fang's short blade-like cutting tofu. Not only that, there was a deep ravine 10 meters long on the ground, composed of cracks. Shocking. The earthy smell was everywhere, proving how amazing the blow was. This is simply the pinnacle of ninjutsu showdown. The terrifying destructive power of ordinary ninjutsu can't be resisted at all, and absolute defense like Susanoo is necessary. Although Chen was not injured, but his body backed away in an instant, and only then did he dodge the U-way of this blow. Sasori and Conan were fighting against Konoha Anbu while secretly frightened. It turned out that White Fang didn't use all his strength when they fought against them. It was really scary. Conan thought of Chen facing the pressure from White Fang, and his heart tightened and he was worried about Chen. Used the paper secret technique to ultimate, and killed 2 more Konoha Anbu in an instant. White Fang can't make a move, these Konoha Anbu are no match for Sasori and Conan at all. Seeing this scene, White Fang was immediately worried, but his opponent was Chen, so he couldn't tolerate him being careless and could only watch Konoha's Anbu die in battle. The strength of White Fang was indeed unexpected, even Chen did not expect it. It is estimated that White Fang's secret technique has some kind of side effect, which can stimulate the potential of the body, but most of it will cause a great burden on the body. It is similar to the 8 inner gates, but the side effects are not as obvious. Chen secretly guessed. Because Chen has already seen that, with just one blow, he saw a layer of fine beads of sweat appearing on White Fang's forehead. I think that this blow will consume a lot of White Fang, and this state cannot be maintained for too long. Long time. Konoha White Fang, I underestimate you, but you shouldn't be in this state for too long. Be careful that you consume too much and cannot cope with the next battle. Chen said lightly. HMPH, I just need to hit you hard in the next period of time. White Fang sneered. I've been through life and death several times over the years, so I don't have the slightest bit of fear, so don't try to shake my mood. To Chen's surprise, White Fang really had a strong will and was not moved by Chen's words. Chen narrowed his eyes. Really, it seems that I am really looked down upon by others, so let's let you see my strength first. Chen does not intend to use the power of Mangekyo Sharingan for the time being. After all, once Mangekyo Sharingan is used, Chen's identity will inevitably be exposed. Although White Fang is already dead in Chen's eyes, it is best not to reveal his identity. So Chen chose Jinten particle style. Chen has already hand seal. Jinten particle style, split detachment of the primitive world technique. I only saw a white light flashing out, covering a huge area of hundreds of meters. Under the horrified gaze of White Fang, Chen had already used Jinten particle style. Fang's location is included, it is Jinten particle style. Please subscribe, please read the underlined version of the novel.